ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of almost all ages, with parental consent. The Sick Twisted Minds at Sacrificial Pond Productions brings you a new style of horror film, like nothing you have seen before. There are no cops, no investigations. There is no backstory, no follow-up of the victims who were brutally tortured and murdered. Our story isn't about them. Normal Terror is about a single dad struggling to make ends meet. His son is his first priority. He goes to work, pays his bills, and is generally a great dad. The twist comes after he puts his son to bed. This is where he releases his stress. Some people do yoga, some hit the gym, some go for runs, some people paint on a canvas. An anonymous source once wrote on an abandoned asylum wall, "I never understood people until I took one apart just to see how it worked." If you are rear-ended in traffic, most people's thought runs to anger and their primal instincts of hurting the other party. Sam Neill does not have the ability to stop that primal instinct. Let us take you into the mind of a killer. Normal Terror is the concept from the mind of Sam Mason, who wrote, directed, produced, and is starring in this new age feature film.
Let's get slicing and dicing with Sir Sturdy horror fans. On this podcast, you will hear me and a guest do some movie reviews, random funny horror chats, and whatever else comes to mind. So tune in, kick back, relax, and always remember, I'll see you in your nightmares.
Well, there's Jason's mask.
So, welcome to the Horror with Sir Sturdy podcast. Here's another episode with me and my brother Rob. Today we're going to be discussing the Friday the 13th franchise. Not really in too deep of a depth, but just doing a nice, fun countdown from worst to first. Freddy vs. Jason's included, and so is the remake. And we're going to be discussing everything Friday the 13th. We're also going to have an honorable mention, which is Never Hike Alone. That's not on the list, but we're just going to discuss a little bit, say what we thought about the movie and this, that, and the third. So enjoy it, have a great time, and just remember, I'll see you in your nightmares. I know I said that soon, but that's fine. So again, without further ado, let's get started, Rob.
Alrighty.
So what is your... Actually, yeah, what's your bottom? What's your
My bottom?
number 12?
Okay. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say that my bottom has got to be part 8.
Really?
Yes. Jason Takes Manhattan. And why that is because it was just so much, it was just ridiculous in so many ways. I mean, not to get ahead of myself, but, you know, one of the things that it implies in one of the last movies with Freddy vs. Jason is that Jason's scared of water because that's apparently how he died as a child. He drowned. Well, he can just, you know, he gets, in a lot of these movies, that's how he, you know, meets his, you know, he gets stopped in the end of the film. He gets locked up in friggin' water, you know, and he swims a friggin' marathon. He swims all the way across, you know, the ocean that they're in when the boat sinks to get to Manhattan while everybody else is pushing themselves, all the survivors are pushing themselves on a rowboat. Okay, that's, whether he's scared of water or not, so that's pushing a little bit.
That's true.
And then he, like, you know what, he can teleport now. Like, you know, 1 second he's standing, standing 20 feet in front of some guy on the boat, and the kid starts climbing, you know, up this ladder, and Jason just, boom, right there, grabs him and pulls him off, throws him, and he lands on some spike.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's busts into the chase into that Asian girl, busts into the ballroom that she goes in, you know, and she looks to where he came in, he's not there anymore. He's looking around, he's not there. Then he just shows up. And probably the worst one is where he's chasing the old man and through the city, and freaking guy runs up, you know, has a standoff with him, runs up the building, and then just comes flying on. Jason was suddenly in the building. What? Come on! It's just
Wow.
like they're just so ridiculous, and yeah, it's one of the most amusing but cheesiest kills. So like takes on the kid with the boxer.
Oh, on the roof.
Take your best shot.
Knocks
One
his
punch
head.
knocks
Boom.
his head right off. And it's like, and talk about lack of gore, but like some of the movie, like 7 and 8, that's those lack so much gore, but had such gory kills.
Yeah.
That makes any sense. But if you've seen them, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
He's right.
It's like some of the kills in that movie should have been so much more graphic, or just should have been so much, just better. Like one thing we were just talking about with those, Wrong Turn movies. We watched 6 of them.
Oh.
Last 2 were god awful. But one thing you could count on in every movie is they had some pretty good, pretty stylish kills.
They definitely did. They definitely did in that.
But some of the Friday the 13th movies definitely lack that. But I think I might have a reason why, and we'll get into that as my movies count down, and we get into a particular film I want to talk about when it comes to that.
Okay, so that was your worst film, dude. I don't mind. I'm gonna give you 2 guesses before I even say this. Matter of fact, let's start from here on out on this list. Let's just kind of just make a little fun. Let's try to guess what our next what.
All
So
right. Well, I gave you mine. So
I'll give you mine.
Give me yours.
And then
your
we'll-
top, and then we'll go from there.
my worst one was Jason Goes to Hell,
Really? Okay.
and I think a big part of it was because Jason wasn't really the main focus in this one. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
how they had the little. I don't even know what the hell. I didn't even watch it recently, but the little thing that would come out of the body and go into someone else's
Yeah.
body and become
Like
that
a
person.
worm.
That person will become Jason, and I just it just bothered me. Like I was like, I want this to be a really good fucking Jason movie, and I see what you're saying with Jason Takes Manhattan, but at least he was like really in it. I'll discuss Jason Takes Manhattan when I get to that point, which it's not. And I don't know, like I was expecting so much more from that movie. Like I remember I think it's like the first scene or whatever. Again, I haven't watched it in a while. I watched all the way up to 7, and then after that, I'm like, okay, I'm good. But anyways, remember when he's about to kill the one girl, and she's like running, she jumps over some bushes or whatever, and then they just shoot at Jason and blow him up and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
I wasn't really feeling it. It was too much. Well, the cool thing about the movie, though, I guess, was again the end when the Freddy pulled the glove down, pulled the mask down.
That's
You see
probably
his
one of the
glove,
only things that say, that's like kind of.
which was supposed to lead into Freddy vs. Jason. And I say that was cool because I had recently, well, first of all, I knew that Kane Hodder was the one that was pulling the mask down with the glove, which is awesome. But I had recently listened to Kane Hodder's book. Amazing book. I highly, highly recommend it. I definitely want to own that hardcover book and get it signed by him one day. But he was talking about how, like, he was sitting, like, under something and, like, pulling it down, like, sand was falling on him. He had, like, sit at an angle so he could see what he's doing because he could see that's pulling it down, which is pretty cool.
Right.
And I guess there's a dog that's, like, sniffing around at the end.
Yeah.
They had to
sniffing the mask.
They had to do that scene a couple times because you can't time when the dog's actually going to sniff it right and this, that, and the third. So that stuff like that was cool. And Kane Hodder being in the movie, not only as Jason, but as a security guard or whatever at one point.
Yeah.
That was cool. And just to throw this out there, a little spoiler, just in case you guys do not know, Kane Hodder is my favorite Jason.
Oh yeah, same here.
But so yeah, that's my that's what I got to say about Jason Goes to Hell.
Right.
So,
and I gotta say, it's probably the reason why they made him security guard and made him, the Freddy glove is because, he'd already done 7 and 8.
Yeah.
And like I said, then he makes it into, then Jason Goes to Hell came right after 8. So, so he was already kind of, he was like the first guy to ever play multiple roles, and he's on a roll,
Yeah.
3 movies in. But this movie, that's one thing I want to say, is that was one of those movies that kind of disappointed in that realm because there's 3 movies where you got no Jason at all, or you got, him.
Yep.
He's the killer, but he's not really there.
The killer, yeah, exactly.
He's inside somebody. Like
It
that's
was
another thing I did. Like,
Another thing I didn't like too.
he sees himself in the mirror a couple times. That's not where they tried to show him.
Was that part too. The dagger thing. Like they had some special dagger and his family member killed him. I thought that was kind of corny.
Yeah, I'll get more into that when it gets on my list, which isn't too far.
Okay, so now we're gonna do a little guessing game. You want to do 2 guesses or 1?
Probably should do. Probably should start with 2, then work our way down to 1, because obviously as we go further down the list, it's gonna be really easy.
So
if we're keeping up.
Once we get to the middle, yeah.
Yeah.
So my guess for you is your next one's gonna be Jason X.
I can already tell you that's incorrect, and it is. Yep.
Jason X?
That's not it.
No.
That's incorrect.
Jason Goes to Hell?
Nope.
Okay.
And I know we're going to be really far apart on this one, because I already know how much, I don't know where you're going to place it, but you said how much you enjoyed it. And I'm going to go ahead and say that the one that places next to me is the remake. And I'll tell you why I do not like that one.
Mine's not too far from
but the thing is, here I am being nitpicky, as I said in the live, the short live broadcast we just did. I'm nitpicky about the story and, stuff like that. And it's like, bring all the blood and gore if it's a slasher flick, great. But if that's all you got, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
And none of these movies had stellar acting, especially when it came to, the victims. And this was one of the worst acted movies we've ever seen in the Friday the 13th series, in my opinion. But also, here's where I'm gonna real picky, and some of you people are gonna feel me. Others are gonna be like, "What the hell's this guy's problem?" But how can you call it Friday the 13th remake when it's fucking 3 movies in one? Friday the 13th, the very original, his mother's the killer. And in this movie, she's in it for 2 minutes. She's already killed everybody. You don't see that. She's chasing the final girl, who does the classic scene from the very original movie, lops her head off, and then like this young, these small legs, does a young boy comes and, finds his mother. So he did witness her getting murdered.
And he takes the necklace.
And then you got, when years later, when Jason does reappear, he's the Elephant Man. He's got the bag on his head, like in part 2. And then, after he kills some, hillbilly, weed farmer, he's like up in this, crap everywhere, shed amongst all the junk. After he kills this guy, he finds a hockey mask. So it's 3 movies, first 3 movies rolled into one. You're calling it Friday the 13th original remake. Okay, that already didn't set well. That's not the reason why I dislike this movie so much. The reason I dislike this movie so much is because, it had some decent kills, but still some over the top ones. And when the hell did Jason become a professional archman? Perfect shot right through that chick's head. Just moving at very high speed on a jet. Or no, he hit the guy who's driving the boat around, driving his girlfriend who's on the jet skis.
Yep.
Perfect shot right through the head. How the hell and the guy's going back and forth, trying to, get, to go at full speed and, and trying to get her to, jump around and do some tricks. So how the hell are you going to do that? And it was poorly acted. The character development was terrible. Some of the story they had going, like, he saved, like, in part 2, he was fooled by the girl who was a child therapist, acting to be his mother. He fell for that one. But in this film, the girl that you think he kills in the beginning, he actually spared and keeps her locked up in his little setup, underground, because it reminds him of his mother. It looks just like the picture, and that he's from the necklace that he has, picture of his mother that he has. So, and I got this guy going around looking for her. Runs in this group of party kids. One's like, oh yeah, I'll help you. The other one acts like a total dick just because. So many cliches.
You're right.
The black dude wants to, start a music label, and some girl says, "Oh, rap," and he perfectly, fires back. If they just left it at this, it would have been great. He fires back, or like, "What, a brother can't like some Green Day? It's always got to be rap." Really? That's the stereotype you're going to give me? And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And if he really did say he was, into something like, do like, like a rock band, something like that, that would have been great. That would have been a great lesson. Which, "Oh, I'm so sorry. What are you doing?" He smiles at rap.
You're right.
Well, there that goes. Like, we're doing something positive here, and we just turned an even bigger cliche. Nice going. So it's, the movie just did not, and it just didn't work for me. It was almost like a Friday the 13th that was in today's day and age, but, like, I was born when part 6 came out. There's another fun fact. The original came out in 1980. So if you're ever wondering, when part 7 came out, I think. Yeah, so you can just every year another one came out. It was just like the Saw movies. 81 Part 2, 83, or 81 Part 2, 82 Part 3, so on and so forth. So I was like, we were halfway through these movies when I was even born. So there was no way in hell I was following these when they were first coming out. So this type of movie was the kind that I, at my age, I'd kind of appreciate the style of movie, but at the same time, I've already loved the originals. I'm already following these. So when this today's day and age type of movie comes out, I'm like, this is total garbage. It's just, like I say, it's just way too cliche. I like, for God's sake, can't we just get away from the freaking horny teenagers screwing in the woods? The virgin lives. The horny ones are the first to go. Can't we break away from that a little bit? Like, that's what I'd like to see. If they ever finally do make another Friday the 13th movie, I'd really like to see us get away from that.
Yep.
Yeah, like get away from, all this stuff that we've had to put up with every other movie. It's just getting old. That's why nobody wants to watch it anymore. That's why you have all these other movies falling apart. Highest grossing movie, of the year and horror movie was the remake of It. How many movies came before it? One. 26 years it took to make a remake. There was nothing. It was one movie you had to run off of. You didn't have a big freaking theme, or something like that. You said one movie. You just had to do something different, try to make it, more of today, and they nailed it. So let's try a movie we've done, 1,000 times over. Let's try, doing something a little original next time we come around.
Okay.
So yeah, we white people like to talk. So
they do. I love it though. This is the platform for it. Talking about horror, I love it. And I have Rob on as much as I can because he really has a passion for horror as I do.
What the fuck? Not to interrupt, but we didn't introduce these Cosby things, but there's a lemon wedge.
Oh yeah,
in mine.
He put the lemon wedge in them too.
Well, yeah, that's a big piece of slush. Like, it's colored too.
So again, shout out to Chris. We didn't get to hit him up. Shout out Chris Gibbs making these awesome Cosby drinks. Got us 4 of them, and they're delicious. If you live in upstate New York in the capital region, hit him up. I'm gonna actually help him make a couple pages for some things he's doing. So it's a quick shout out to him, and we can jump right back into this Jason thing. So what do you think my next one is?
Okay, your next. Okay, so you did Jason Goes to Hell, right? For your first one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so my next guest is going to be Jason X.
You're right.
I knew it. The way you kind of talked about Jason Goes to Hell, I'm like, I got a feeling Jason X is going to fall in the same category here.
Again, with what we were discussing with Wrong Turn, which I made that little corny joke, I'm going to say it on here. I made a wrong turn watching 5 and 6.
Yeah.
I didn't make a wrong turn watching any Jason movie. I will say that because I just didn't. Jason's my favorite slasher.
I don't care how bad the movies might get. They start making another dozen. I'm going to watch every single one.
Exactly.
Might even go to theaters to do it too.
Actually, I definitely would. But I'll say that the reason why I would is I went and see the last one in theaters because obviously all the other ones we couldn't see in theaters as kids.
Right.
We weren't born yet.
Right.
And when we were born, we were way too fucking young.
Yeah, exactly.
But so Jason X, just taking this motherfucker to space made no sense to me. I enjoyed the what I did enjoy was the kills in the movie, and there's on the remember he was in that when they had him frozen, he was in that machine thing or whatever. Yep. What it says on there, I forgot what it says on there exactly, which I should look it up, but I'm not gonna. That it's actually an island where Kane Hodder was raised. Oh, he wasn't born on this island, but his family eventually moved there, and he was raised there for years. And it's actually, I believe, it's also in it comes up in the Hatchet movie series, they call it by that island name. Oh, that's such and such island. Mm. That's a real island where he was born and raised. Not born, sorry, but he was raised there. I think as maybe a preteen, late teen, up on, and it's not too far from Hawaii. It's one of those little islands. It's a real small island, which was cool. So that right there is pretty cool. I just found this out listening to the book a couple weeks ago. But like I said, just bringing him to space. I thought Uber Jason looked fucking awesome. That was when he fell on the thing.
Premiere, it was one of the best freaking scenes you're gonna find in a Jason movie.
And when he was the android chick, when he was fighting her, I thought that was cool.
Yep.
And overall, this was a fun movie. This was one of those movies. It was fun. It didn't really connect with the series too much for me. I mean, I know they talked about it he used to be this killer, killed all these people, but then they fucking brought him to space with that. It's my thing is, it's like with this, why not just shoot him into space by himself? And that's it. Just leave him orbiting in space by himself, and he's
Right.
not gonna come back. But you bring this motherfucker into space, he eventually thaws out, and he starts killing everybody on the damn ship damn near. People have sex on the ship, they die, of course. There's
Yep.
some big titties on the ship. I enjoyed that. But they die. And I mean, like, there were some awesome kills in it, like the again, like I said, I watched up to 7 the past couple of weeks ago. When he froze the face, the
Yeah.
thing froze the face and smashed it. I thought that was awesome.
Which is say could never happen.
And was this is the one where he was like, people were playing some virtual reality game.
Oh yeah, yep.
And remember the
Shooting like dinosaur creatures.
now remember the kill where he picked up the sleeping bag, was beating it up against the tree, the girl's still moving, he looked confused.
Yep.
That was funny. But at the same time, just like, why did he have to go to space? And again, the tough part about this is my bottom 2 is 9 and 10, and it's both my favorite fucking horror icon, Kane Hodder.
I know.
And he played the part so well, though. Like, that's one thing I can say. Is like, for each movie that he was in, he played the part so fucking well, like with the attitude and just didn't care. And another little fun fact I'm gonna throw at you guys is for those of you who didn't read the book, for those of you who read the book or listened to the audiobook like I did, you know what I'm talking about. He was saying, like, when he did the movies, first of all, 2 things I'll say. He used to play pranks on people. Like, he would, it's like, say, I'm sitting in a chair right now. He'd be sitting in a chair wearing a whole Jason suit, but like outside somewhere. And kids would come up to him thinking it's just a statue and like throw rocks and stuff at him. And he'd like jump up and scare him,
Yep.
which is cool. But another thing what he would do is, like, he was saying, actually, I got another thing. 2 more things. He was saying, like, for the Jason movies, I guess, because he was in that suit and everything, he couldn't really take the suit off, so he had to pee. I don't remember who he did it to first, but for every single Jason movie, he peed in somebody's trailer. Not in the bathroom, just right on the floor. He even did it in his own for one. He even did it in his own for one of them. But the last thing the one original fact I was gonna say, let me see if I can think of it real quick. Oh, he was saying, like, when he was dressed up in costume as Jason, like full costume, he would stay away from the rest of the cast members, just to like get in character. And he said it would be more scary if when he's all dressed up like that, if he stays away from everybody else, like, it's gonna be his victims or whatever. So when they see him, they'll have more of a fear than if he's hanging out with them, laughing and joking around on set, instead of, keeping his distance. And he also said, like, when he's getting ready for the role, he'd be beating on shit and just like yelling and just getting ready, like literally yelling, getting ready and beating on shit, which I thought was fucking cool. But so, like, he really has a passion for playing this part. If there's ever another Jason movie, I would love to, even if he's not Jason throughout the whole movie, if he's just like a stunt double or whatever, he would just, like, his walk, everything about him, I think is just damn near perfect for the role.
Oh yeah.
But again, with the Jason X thing, like I said, he looked fucking amazing. It was awesome. The Uber Jason was fucking awesome. I have to get that figure and the mask. That's besides the point. But it just didn't go with the story for me, man. Like,
It's Jason Goes to Hell kind of, got a little ridiculous with the whole worm thing and the dagger thing you were talking about.
you can
But
even
that's
say
where we lost that. But Jason X, where we really lost the story.
you can even say Jason
And
Takes Manhattan to an extent, which I'll get to that more when I get to my list. Is where, matter of fact, I'll wait till I get to that, and then we can talk about that some. So
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it got a little off, but at least
it was still kind of
at
with the
least
story.
kinda, like, it's like, I mean, the way it ended in part 7 was beyond ridiculous. But at least, when he resurrected in part 8, you knew exactly. It wasn't like you knew
Yeah.
how he got there, and
Mhm.
you see how he's getting free again. It makes sense. I mean, not that it's a great, great movies or it's a great, introduction,
Yeah.
but at least you have an idea. At least it
Mhm.
still follows the story about, how he gets stopped and how he comes back again. But, like, how the hell, like I said, I thought when Jace Goes to Hell, I thought this all ended, but no, now he's, a test victim in the future, Jason X, and then, many years go by, and now he's in space.
Yeah.
And then how the hell do we go back to freaking Freddy versus Jason after that? It's like, that's where the story started to get ridiculous.
I agree. So
As far as, the ending go, I'm not going to go deep into those movies till I get to them.
I have to guess what your next one is. I got 2 guesses, right?
Yeah.
My first guess is gonna be Jason Goes to Hell.
Nope.
My second guess is gonna be Freddy vs. Jason.
Nope.
Damn it.
Nope. Okay, so my next one and I'm gonna get real deep, and I'm gonna make sure to make really be specific about this. Why I put it here, but why I really wish I didn't have to put it here is part 7.
Oh.
And what I'm gonna say right off the bat is that was Kane Hodder's first Jason, and that is probably not only the best looking Jason from the way he looks when he's resurrected and he's sporting his mask that's rotting out because he's been in the water so long, but it was also the best freaking unmasked Jason look, and it was probably the best acting Jason we've had. That was Kane Hodder's first introduction, and he was stellar in it. But the reason why this ranks so low with me, one, because the whole freaking what's the actual word for the main character in this film?
Telekinesis.
Telekinesis. I hated that. I thought that was so stupid. Couldn't stand that. I mean, to a degree, it was okay when she can kind of do these things. She accidentally killed her father in the beginning of the movie, and and that's how she resurrects, because she feels Jason's presence, but she thinks it's her father, so she uses her powers to resurrect her father, but instead resurrects a psycho killer. So, well, first of all, he jumps right out right in front of her, which scares the hell out of her, and she faints. Okay, he probably walked right past her. Why the hell didn't he off her right there? Okay, that's not a big issue. We'll look past that. But, the ending of it, I couldn't stand, like how the final showdown between her and the boyfriend, this is like, we've seen, especially since part 6, when he comes back from the grave, he is super powerful. He's got mega strength. He can, rip somebody in half. He can punch his fist right through somebody, without even giving full force. And he doesn't run, but he's quick at what he does. And he's quick in this movie until the end. It's like when they had the showdown in the basement. She uses her powers to throw a bunch of freaking nails. Like, she drops a jar of nails and shoots them at him. Like, he takes 3 steps back. Really? That hurts you that bad? You've taken gunshots, machetes, axes to the head, and a nail is gonna slow you down. Then, when they're on the dock, he punches a guy, and he just goes up in the air and falls on a boat unconscious. Not dead. Didn't rip rips body part off. Just one nice punch and you're dead. And he's just standing there for 10 minutes in front of her while she's trying to call her, trying to get her real father to come up from the watery grave to grab him. It's this guy is freaking psycho, and he's quick at what he does and great at what he does, but at the end they just made him slow down on purpose, and it was so obvious, and it just didn't work. And if you get the, I don't know if this, Henry was talking about the box sets of movies that they're selling at Walmart now. For $20. I don't know if it's the same one or not, but the one you could get, it was $80. Freaking,
years ago.
It was it had the box set of 8 movies with the box was shaped like Jason's mask.
Yep.
But it had a special feature DVD. And that's when the MPAA really got on them. They showed it was all it wasn't it was a little blurry, a little messy, had that those counting numbers, those digits that move at 1,000 miles per hour on the bottom and top of the screen. That's the first film before it goes in to be edited and perfected. They showed the kills there, but some of the kills in Part 7 were amazingly so much more accurate, with the blood and guts. When the 2 people are screwing in the van, and one guy goes out thinking it's one of their friends trying to scare him, but they come out to surprise him. And he comes out and he grabs his head and he starts crushing it.
Yeah.
They may have shown a little blood, but that's where it stopped. In the uncut version, they show his head kind of crushing, and a big spew of blood goes flying. A lot bloodier when he shoved the party favor into the chick's head. The guy the axe to the face, and on the beach, 2 people go to the beach. One girl runs in skinny dip, and the other guy's trying to get undressed, and then Jason surprises them. He swings an axe, don't show it, and then she sees her boyfriend dead on the beach. They show him take the guy across the face. Looks really, he's looked good in real, gritty, blurry, filming. If they could have taken it to the however they perfect it, it would look so much better. The gore was so great in this movie. but they totally ruined it, and they never released an uncut, like an unrated version, so we could see it perfected in its,
That would have been nice.
That would have been great.
That would have been fucking awesome.
If that happened, Part 7 would rank so much higher on my list. I mean, I still hate the story. I still don't like, how they did that. And also when he kills the doctor with the metal weed whacker, that got a lot more, and that was a gory. You could tell that was a real gory scene that didn't get its gory glory.
You're right.
But they showed that too, and that looked much better. And yeah, that's just, like I said, the story wasn't great, and then you go ahead and you take out, just like Part 8, you take out all the gore, and it's just like it just doesn't help anything. That's why I hate to say that Part 7 ranks so low, because I mean Kane Hodder just
did so great,
gave a new life to this classic character.
He really
Another
did.
story about when filming Part 7 is, I don't think it was his house, but wherever he stayed, like in his trailer, was quite distant from where they filmed. So he had to like take this hiking trail to get back. And usually by the time they were done filming, it was at night. And he could have, like I said, he could have at least taken his mask off and some of the makeup off, but he stayed in some of his, outfit. But no, he kept the whole costume on, mask and all, and used to walk that trail slowly, like Jason would, and get hikers passing by that would, try to find his, get as far off the trail as they could when they saw him. So he embraced that role. And the same thing when he played in the Hatchet movies. I don't know how much he did this in all of them, because there's 4 of them now. But in the very first film, like when he first made his, it's not where he first made his appearance, but like when he first, came out, to most of the actors that were in the film, he was never seen. They never got to see him in full makeup. And he'd be doing the same thing. He's like standing behind like in a cemetery, like a really tall gravesite, and he's like hooting and hollering, beating on it, getting into character, and they can hear him. And if they don't know what they're gonna see, they can hear what he's gonna sound like, but they can't see what he looks like. And then all of a sudden when the scene was played out, he jumps out in full costume chasing them. Like, so the reaction of them was much more real. As opposed to, seeing it, like you said, clowning around, joking around, getting to meet each other, seeing what he's going to look like, know what to expect. No, they had no idea. So it's just great. He embraced all these roles he does. He just takes to a whole nother level.
He really does. Kane was, like I said, to me, hands down, and this is nothing against any other person that done the mask, the amazing mask, but Kane Hodder definitely took it to a different level.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely took it to a different level, and
what perfect timing too. Like I said, when you've got the story's kind of declining and everybody's noticing,
and he comes in there.
He comes in and he just brings a whole, much
whole
better
energy.
Jason.
Yeah. So, you want to guess my next one?
Yeah, we're down to the third one right now.
Yep.
Okay, so you've done Jason Goes to Hell, and then you did Jason X. I'm going to say, this is hard because I know some of, probably thinking of it. I'm probably not going to say it because I know you've given props to it before, but maybe not quite like the others. So I'm going to go ahead and say Pretty Rich Jason.
No.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm going to go with Part 8 then.
Motherfucker. Again. And before I even get into Part 8, because you pretty much got into it really good, and I agree with that. Before I get into Part 8 too good, I'm wondering which ones we have neck and neck.
I think it's probably going to be, hopefully, towards
the top.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I probably have,
because I know
I probably got like 1 or 2 more that just, so maybe 3 or, somewhere between 2 and 4 that I just don't like at all or just don't really care for.
Yeah.
But as we're getting to like further down, it's like they're still up to a little, they're still a little low, but I think they're phenomenal. It's just, there was something about another one that I liked a little better to give it a better rating.
See what now? I'll jump into Jason Takes Manhattan. And like, first of all, my big thing with this is I feel like with this movie, with this franchise, he should never leave the camp.
True.
Freddy vs. Jason, which we'll get into when we both get to our list on that, but it's a different argument, and there's reasons why, which I said we'll get into. But with this, like, I feel like he should never leave the camp because the whole thing of this movie of him killing people at the camp is because they didn't watch him. He drowned, and the one killed his mother.
Right.
And, like, pretty much, I'm guessing he's like, somehow his mother's telling him to kill or whatever. He should be killing at that camp, though. Don't go to that camp because you're going to get killed by Jason.
Right.
But no.
It's kind of his domain. It's like he's almost protecting it.
So he follows these people to Manhattan. Like, they go on the boat. The boat eventually sinks. And I remember him climbing up the thing on the boat, the anchor or whatever.
Yep.
And then, like you said, how the hell did he get to Manhattan? And another thing with Freddy vs. Jason... No, I want to wait till we get to that. But the whole water thing, though. Because, like, you know how they... Fucking, I'll say it now. You know how they're saying, like, he's scared of water, but he's always in water.
Right. It's like... It's not like...
Which is where... Okay, we'll get into that. I'm sorry,
Freddy
people...
vs. Jason was the second to last movie that came out, because after that was the remake.
Yeah.
So at least it didn't do that story and then make 5 more movies of him being in water.
Yeah.
To a degree.
But I mean, like, with this one... The kills were pretty cool. They were a little cheesy, like Rob was saying. The head knock off, it was cool. It was funny.
It was more amusing than, like,
It could have been gorier.
Yep.
And I just didn't like the whole Manhattan thing. I didn't like how it ended. You know what I didn't like about it? Remember when he was in the sewer and the sewer flooded or whatever, and then he's like, as a kid, shaking, saying help or whatever.
Right, because he showed up as a kid. That's another thing that kind of got obnoxious. Like, he shows as a kid, like, this girl sees him, because that's another thing I didn't bring up is, that was a backstory. Her uncle, her dick uncle, threw her in the lake. She tried to swim, and supposedly Jason pulled her under as a child.
Now, see, that's cool, but if they would have left that at the camp, and maybe he's seen her again or whatever, they kind of that's cool. But with the whole him being a kid at the end, this is when the movie's over pretty much, and he's like shaking, crying, whatever. I thought that was just. They fucked up with that. They dropped the ball with that. Because how are you going to make him... I understand he started as a kid from part 1, even though he wasn't in it. But he's supposed to be seeing his mother's death. Then you see part 2, you see him in it. He's older, obviously. Part 1, you see him in the very end when he drives the chick under the water.
Right.
But, and then you go to part 8, and I'm like, every other movie he's an adult, besides the original. Now he's a fucking kid again. How does that even make sense? How the hell is he a kid, right? But he's big as fuck. I'm just like, what the fuck? You dropped the ball with this shit.
It's weird, too, because, like, he's, like, melting in this stuff. Like, his face is, like, completely coming apart. And then it, like, completely falls in, and then he's a kid. Does she see him like that?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
And he completely disappeared, he completely melted away. And so if he melted away, how the hell does he come back and Jason goes to hell? Where if he turned into a child...
He's a grown man.
How the hell did he come back and Jason goes to hell?
You see, and like, I mean, again, I enjoyed every single Jason movie I watched because it was fun to watch. But it's like, with this one, we can honestly do without 8, 9, and 10. We can. And it hurts to say that because Kane Hodder was in those 3.
I know. It's like the best Jason is like in the worst movies.
But I feel why these movies work in a sense, I might be contradicting myself, why they work in a sense, and why we can watch them over and over is because of Kane Hodder's acting in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
In these 3 movies. Because he really plays the fucking part like we've been championing him and saying. And I don't hate any Jason movie. I'm not going to say that. But this, it just doesn't make any, I don't know. Why did he leave the camp? I understand he's following certain people or whatever, but he's not Michael. It's not like, how Michael Myers is always after his sister?
Right.
If Jason had a history of doing shit like that, it would make more sense. But it's like, why? Unless, here's another way that this movie would make sense, because he did leave the camp a little bit in part 2 when he went to go kill the bitch that killed his mom. I don't blame him for that.
Which, but that was really before we even knew, we didn't even know Jason, who the hell he was.
Exactly.
I mean, we knew he was,
You just knew he drowned.
Yeah, he drowned, and then the classic scene at the end of the original, but that could have been a dream. We didn't know if that was really him or not. And we didn't know if he was going to grow up and come back and, continue his mother's legacy.
But again, like, I don't know. Like with part 8, again, like I said, if they left it at the camp and he still went after those people and killed them, because you could have had a boat on the water in part 8. You didn't have to go all the way the fuck to the city. And I just don't get it. It just, that one just fell apart. It was fun though, like I said, and I guess we were discussing this a while ago, but you were brought up that he was originally, for them to finish Jason off or kill him, he's supposed to fall to Statue of Liberty, right?
Yeah,
Something like
I
that.
read something about that.
I don't know how true it was, but we were discussing that in a few podcasts before, which would have been kind of cool, but I still feel nothing tops him being at the camp, just killing at the camp, and just, I don't know, as you can see, I don't get it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. And I feel if he was in the city also, I feel he should have killed more people that were in the city, not just going at the main group, because Jason didn't chase just a certain person.
Right, and the corniness in it too, like, where he kicks the stand with the boombox. All those thugs are trying to pull, they all get together, pull like their chains and their knives. You're dead, you're dead knee, and he turns around and
just lifts his mask
up. And they turn and run away. And when he first comes out of the water, he's walking around, he kind of stops, he's turns his head looking at something. It's like a big billboard with the
Jason
with
the mask.
with the mat, like a hockey player.
Those,
and he kind of looks like at you, like, what?
But it's crazy and weird and mixed up as this movie was. Those two parts I didn't like hate because it fit with the movie.
It fit with the movie. They were just like,
but
the movie already wasn't. You couldn't take it that serious. You weren't finding it very scary. And it's just now we're just putting goofiness.
Exactly.
That's the reason why I just don't. It's things I just didn't like about it.
It just, oh man, like, and I think the reason why, I'll give you two. Let me think. One, Jason Goes to Hell. I'm going back to this, and Jason X. He left the damn world, so that can't be
right.
And then Jason Goes to Hell was just too much fuckery going on for me to put it higher on this list. And I feel like the only reason why this is here and not behind those two is because of what I just mentioned, and because at least he was still close. I didn't know this until I got older, but Camp Crystal Lake is in Jersey.
Yeah,
that was as far as where the movie was shot. Whatever. That camp was in Jersey, so at least he was kind of close to there still. And it was one of those ones. It was one of the Jason movies I've seen the most growing up as a kid. Because remember when Friday the 13th, on Friday the 13th, this movie would always come on the USA Network.
Oh yeah.
And this would be. I know I think they would do the whole series. I'm not 100% sure, but this would be one of the ones they'd show multiple times throughout the whole weekend. It'd be part 8. Jason, this one, and there was a couple other ones, but this was like the main one. I don't know why, because it was not the best one.
Yeah.
But so I'm ready to bump on to the next one, and I'm gonna guess your next one was Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh man, I don't think so. Nope.
Damn. All right, let me think.
Getting closer.
Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh man, so close, but not quite. It's part 5.
Oh.
And most people say they know the number one reason why this movie don't rank so high, and yeah, that's a big reason. But trust me, it's not like the biggest reason. One of the biggest reasons is because I know it's like probably the most, sex-filled and gore-filled movies they ever made. And it went back to the MPA rating 17 times to tone down the sex and the violence. And that, to me, that makes some people say, that's great, this movie's already gory and, and super sex. Think about how much worse it could have been. No, to me, that's just makes me hate it even more. And I'll tell you why. Because, when you saw it, part 4 was pretty brutal.
Yes, it was.
And it's, in ways. But this, to me, it almost seemed like it was a cop-out. Like, they couldn't think of a way, or they did, and they just didn't want to do it, to bring him back. So they're going to bring on a copycat killer, try to have a story as to why there's a copycat killer. Well, I didn't like I said, I hated the character they chose. The reason why it was good, but like I said, some your son is, you're freaking, you're an EMT or coroner or whatever, trying to pick up a body. You abandon this kid as, you abandoned this kid as a boy. He looks nothing like he did when you left him. But even though you have his picture of him as an adult in your wallet, well, what the hell you been doing? Oh, I don't want this kid, but I'm going to keep tabs on him. I'm going to follow him, I'm going to, steal pictures or take pictures and, shit like that. But I'm not going to make an attempt to, go up and say, hey, son, I'm your dad. Especially when he's a very simple, very kind and simple boy.
He is.
He would understand. I mean, he would not understand, but he would probably, embrace the idea of, never had a dad, and now he's standing right in front of me. So you could have made that effort to go up and, tell him who you are, try to explain as best you could as why you abandoned him. And plus, this guy does not strike you as, as a psycho killer for one, and how perfectly he's pulling off some of it has some stellar kills in it, don't get me wrong. But that's the work of somebody who's been doing this shit for years, not somebody who just, I just found my kid that I abandoned, as a child, hacked up to pieces by some, attitude and rage, a-hole. So I'm going to just start killing people just because. And how perfectly and crafty he does it. Like, that just made no sense to me. Obviously, I don't like the fact it's not really Jason, even though, the idea, was kind of there, especially the way Tommy's seeing him as, and like sees, sees like his like visions of him. And every time he turns around, he's not really there. He closes his eyes and looks again, he's not there. He's just seeing it. Now I know it's something they can't fix because part 6 came after part 5. He's a teenager in part 6. He's a probably almost 30-year-old man in part 5. So he faces Jason as a young boy and kills him. Teenager, he resurrects him and he comes back again. Then as a young man, where the hell's Jason?
That's true.
Where the hell is he? You're facing some copycat killer. Why aren't you facing the real one? Where are you? I don't know if they said where the institution that he's staying in part 5 is.
I forgot.
But if they ever said it, like, how far away is that? Because if it's happening right around the corner from Crystal Lake, how the hell does that make any sense? If Jason, you resurrected Jason, a few years ago, and he's still out doing his thing in all these movies later, why are you chasing a copycat? I know it's kind of probably something they look back on like, damn, we didn't think that far ahead. We should have made him a teenager in part 5, then a young adult, in part 6. Well, we can't fix it now, so let's just hope nobody cares or everybody looks past that.
I didn't even think of that, man. I'm glad you brought that up.
But like I said, but the fact you put so much sex and gore into the movie, the final cut, and you want to put so much more into it, tells me you made a terrible movie. You're trying to get everybody to, not look at that and just be so ooh and awed by all the tits and blood and guts.
Speaking of the kills, remember the chick Victoria got killed?
Yep.
She was supposed to get stabbed in the puss.
Yeah. Yep. That's what, Reggie as a grown man is, retelling the story about that.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
By the way, again, with my last podcast episode, well, I don't know if that'll be out before or after this one, but, I'm going to tell you guys about another segment I have. It's, I didn't mean to cut you off, but...
No, it's all good, bro.
I came up with this with my brother-in-law. It's going to be a segment, and I'm going to try to do it in every episode, where you pick your favorite... Well, if we're doing... This one's going to be a little bit different. This one, we're going to... Because we're doing all the Jason movies, we're going to pick our 2 favorite characters from the whole series, our 2 least favorite characters, not including Jason.
Right.
And, so what I do with the regular movies, if it's just one movie, you'll pick your favorite. Like, we'll do a list of every character in the movie. You'll rank them, 1 to 10, as far as 1 star to 10 stars or whatever thing is. And then from, your favorite, we'll just talk about a character. What do you rank them? What do you give them in the ranking for this movie? And then we'll also do a kill-off list. Like, who do you wish got killed off in a list? Like, what order do you wish they got killed off? And with that, we also included the survivors, which is kind of fun. It's a little bit different.
Right.
And so we ranked the characters, and when we said when we want them to get killed off, if they got killed off or not. So we'll be doing that from now on. It will be in this one, kind of, sort of, but like I said, we're only going to do 4 characters, 2 and 2. And we jump right back into it. Were you still good with 5, or?
I think so. Yeah, like I say, it's just... I just couldn't stand,
I get it.
The poor character. Like, you could have had. I don't know how you'd find. How you would incorporate. Like, maybe somebody who had a hell of a history. Criminal history, got his life together. Living a normal life. Then comes across
That
that, and then
or
turns him, not only violent, but not only criminal, but fucking psychotic.
Now I have this one quite a bit higher on my list. I will say that, but going off of what you're saying, another thing they could have did with the copycat killers, if they had somebody that was really, really fascinated with Jason,
right?
Like, because obviously people knew about Jason. So say there's newspaper articles, stuff on the news, and say someone just saved all these clippings and just kept reading it and reading it and reading it. And let's just say, I don't know how often Jason came, but let's just say he came every 5 years because Friday the 13th in the summer, blah, blah, blah. So let's say he didn't come for like 10 to 15 years, and someone was like, you know what? They just wanted to be that copycat killer and kind of went off, and they knew about Tommy Jarvis, and they knew about him staying at this little home. That would have probably made the movie better.
Right.
Again, I had this higher on my list, but I'm just saying, just throwing that idea out there may have made the movie a little bit better. It's like a little copycat. And I know why. I was watching the Crystal Lake, Camp Crystal Lake Memories or whatever, which is fucking amazing. The documentary is like 7 hours. I watched some of it.
Wow.
Again, bro, Fire Stick.
Yeah.
And I'll help you set it up when you get it, but it's definitely worth it. But because that's why I was watching down there. But like in there, from what I remember, they were talking about part 5, and the reason why they did that is because I guess people are kind of getting bored of the Friday the 13th series, so they want to do kind of like a Guess Who thing.
Right.
And then part 6, they just went back to the story.
Obviously,
more.
After that, it's like that's your best ever. Okay, yeah, we'll take Jason back.
But so yeah, so
it's like some of the kills. Like, this like some power. Like, if you think about some of the kills, like, there's some powerful stuff he did. Like, like the
definitely
like the head guy. The guy who is who runs it. You don't see him kill, but you see his body. He's like nailed to a tree, and like a big old nail through his head, pinning against the tree. Okay, that takes some immortal, super powerful Jason strength to do that right there.
It does.
Like, whether you have a blunt object to put it in there, or you do it with your hand. There's no way how you're gonna get that hold still. Or like I said, or did you kill him another way, and then you just nailed him up there for kicks? I said, then when the grandfather comes to the window, if you look, they kind of show him like his eyes are, stabbed at. It's like you just overdid things, just trying, like I said, trying to compensate for the fact you're not going to really have Jason in here, and and then this guy can just burst right through wooden doors, that just run right through without even thinking. It's like, and then he gets hit with a big tractor that the kids drive in, gets cut.
What was cool about the tractor hit though?
Nothing happens.
Was because I just watched this a couple weeks ago. He's touching his side, and he was looking at his thing. He was actually bleeding from it. He should have been more hurt from that, knowing that he was a copycat guy. But I still thought that was kind of cool.
Right, and then Tommy stabs him in the leg, pulls it out, walks perfect after that.
But part of that, see, I had this higher on my list, but I'll still talk about this a little bit. Part of the stabbing part though could have also been just acting.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, say if that was Kane Hodder playing the copycat Jason, he would have probably acted that part out so much. Nothing against the guy that played this part, because I'll tell you right now, if I met him, I'd get his fucking autograph. But I feel like Kane Hodder might have played that better, like limping and just kind of moving slow. You know what I mean?
Every time Kane Hodder played, he was immortal, so nothing like that ever phased him. He was getting shot, stabbed,
But no, but
set on fire, blown up, all sorts of
I'm
shit.
saying, like, if he was playing the copycat guy, he would have played it a little bit different. But, shit happens.
Yep.
So, back to me. You want to guess my next one?
Okay. Let's see. I'm not even going to try to. I'm going to stop asking. What you've already guessed. That might throw me off. So that might help. Me miss some of these. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and say. Part 7.
No.
No. Okay. All right. What are some other remake?
No.
Okay.
Close, but no. Freddy vs. Jason.
That's like, which ones are like, kind of out there a little bit that we haven't touched on yet. And that's okay.
That's the one.
That's the one.
And like, I love the fucking kills in the movie. I love the kills.
Oh yeah.
I actually thought the way they did the story was pretty cool, to an extent. going down, going back to the water shit that we were discussing. I didn't really like how Jason was scared of water. I know he drowned. I get that. Cool. But, like, the reason why I didn't like it is because every single movie, this motherfucker's coming out of water or going into water at some point.
Right. Purposely.
Yeah, like he's walking in there in his own power, and he's not scared of it.
Yeah, like, you know, when Tommy goes out on the boat in part 6, like, come get me. Like, if he was scared of water, he would have been like,
No.
yeah, you know, he would have gone back and grabbed somebody and tried to, you know, entice him. No, come get me, or else the bitch gets it.
Exactly, and that was one thing I didn't like about it, and just it was too. I know Freddy's silly and goofy, but I wish that movie was taken a little bit more serious, like less hee ha ha shit, less little jokey
when you
shit.
watch a Elm Street movie, don't expect a ton of kills. When you watch a Friday the 13th movie, you expect kills start to finish.
Which there was a lot of kills, and I enjoy it. Like I liked how, because I like how Freddy can, you know, he can change shit, the dreams and shit.
Right.
And he came as Jason's mother and said, "Go to Elm Street and start killing." And Jason got up and went to Elm Street and start killing. I thought that was a good start. That was a fucking great start, actually. That was fucking perfect, damn near. And then he gets there, he keeps killing and killing and killing. And I liked how Freddy was like, remember the one point where Freddy got mad? He's like, he won't stop killing.
Right. Yeah, he pretends to be his mother.
Yeah, you woke up a beast, and of course he's not gonna stop killing. But like another big scene I liked. Remember the party scene where they're out in the farm, wherever the fuck they were, out in the middle of the woods.
Out in the cornfield.
Thank you. They were out in the cornfield, right, having parties, drinks and shit, and they were drinking. I know the one fat dude was drinking like Everclear. They seen Jason, and he like poured Everclear on him, lit him on fire.
Yep.
That scene was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
to me.
and then he's
Like, you seen, because they did like an overshot, you seen like the field setting on fire, and he has a machete, and he's just slicing through people left and right, boom, boom,
the
boom.
flying machete that's on fire, that was cool.
That was awesome. Threw it through somebody. He saved the girl from getting raped.
Yep.
Which,
well, kind of. I mean, she didn't get raped, but she got murdered instead.
Well, you know, because there was a dude coming on to her, and Jason stabbed him in the back and fucking threw him like fucking 80 million yards away, which was awesome. But I just, like I said, the kills were cool, but I just didn't like the goofiness was too much for me. Like the one dude that was, what else did I like about the movie? Actually, I liked the two main characters. Remember the one guy whose brother got killed by Freddy?
Yeah.
And they were trying to figure out, because they were him and the other guy, the pretty boy.
Yeah, the guy that the female main character had a fling with at one point. Or he got locked up in the
and that little asylum, and they were on the medication. They weren't having dreams and forgetting dreams to forget about Freddy. That's why Freddy couldn't come back.
Right.
And like, he just, I liked that part too. I thought it was pretty cool. Like, it was a cool concept to it. But I just wish they went more. Like, I understand how they wanted to forget about Freddy and this, that, and the third. Then they finally forget about Freddy. They remember about Freddy because those two came on reminding people about him. And, like, the whole Jason thing, like how they knew about Jason because they seen the guy in hockey and I was like, okay, that's Jason Voorhees, da-da-da. They looked it up or whatever. I don't know, man. Let me think real quick. I don't know. I just wish they did things a little bit different. I wish it was scarier. I wish there was more jump scares in it. I wish there was some good kills in it. I wish there was still more gore in it. And, like, the Jason vs. Freddy fight, when they're in the dream, I didn't like the pinball bullshit. I thought that was kind of corny.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I get it to an extent, but
it's kind of how, you know,
Freddy is.
Right. I mean, Freddy was, like, scary as hell when you first saw him, like, when he first came out, like, in the 80s.
The first one.
Then it goes a little further. Then it gets a little goofy every time. Then it's just, like, almost a damn comedy.
But I just wish that they would have done, like, with Jason vs. Freddy, I wish they would have just made it, like I said, like, a little more scarier. I do love how they went I love how Jason went to Elm Street, and I love how they went back to Camp Crystal Lake. And then, like, you know, another thing that bothered me about the movie, I think they did it a little bit too late. And Kane Hodder should have been in the fucking movie. I don't care what anybody says. Fuck you if you disagree with me. Kane Hodder should have been in the movie. Robert Englund and Kane Hodder both wanted to be in that movie together, which would have been fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And that might have made the movie better just because the way just the way Kane Hodder moves. Like, the way he moves, and he's just like, he plays the fucking role of Jason so fucking perfect.
Oh yeah.
And that might be why this. I mean, if Kane Hodder was in this movie, it might have bumped it up a couple for me. I don't know about you. I don't know where it is on your list, but like he just, I didn't hate. I enjoyed the movie. The movie was fun. It was a really fun fucking movie. I'm not gonna lie. And I love that Robert Englund was in the movie. I just wish Kane was. Nothing against the guy that played Jason. I think he did a good job. But
it's gonna have to change everybody. At least like that wasn't like the other guys. Freddy debut.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been bad.
That
put it this way: if Freddy vs. Jason was this guy who played Jason, nothing against you, because I think you really did a good job. And then that other guy who played Freddy, that would have probably been last on my list.
Yep.
Easily.
Same here. That would have killed.
But I just wish the overall story had a little bit more depth to it. Was a little darker, like more serious. Because when you come from Jason's side, it's more serious, and come from Freddy, it's like serious / comedy. I don't mind the comedy, but just tone it down some. Make it a lot darker. Make it fucking scary. Make it a nice jump scare. Like, I don't get scared easily, but make it a nice jump scare, and just, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about this fucking movie. Like I said, I'm sounding like what I'm saying. I'm sounding like I hate it. I really enjoyed it. I love the ending. How they're fighting on the dock at Crystal Lake. Jason cuts his head off with the machete.
Yep. But you don't see it. You see the last thing we see is like Freddy's arm go through him.
Yeah, and then
Jason, Jason's holding on to it. Then he falls in the water, and Freddy right after him.
Yep.
Then Jason comes out of the water
with Freddy's head, and then Freddy winks. And there was never a fucking sequel. That would have been now. Just imagine if they made a sequel, right?
I would take a sequel over the remake.
And Kane Hodder was in the sequel. Boom. That's how you fix that shit.
Right.
And I'm done with mine.
And now to that, Kane Hodder is still killing it with Victor Crowley from the Hatchet movies. So next time, when you finally make another Jason movie, put him back in it. He ain't slowed down. He's still stellar. He's still doing great.
I think we should do a Hatchet movie thingy one of these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna say it because we're both fans of Kane Hodder, and if you're listening to this and you want to be on this with us, hit us up, and we'll make a thing. Me and Rob, we're good friends. We're here in person and get you on Skype or something to do this with us. But we're gonna keep going with this list. I'm gonna try to guess Rob's list.
All right.
And
Give it away.
I'm gonna say Freddy vs. Jason.
You got it, dude.
Yes, that's perfect because you keep talking about it. I finally got one right. We're gonna keep talking about Freddy vs. Jason. I'll let you take the lead, and then I'll add in as.
Okay, so why that one doesn't make me? Obviously, Kane Hodder isn't in it. That was a big, Well, I liked how. I wish Freddy got more kills in it. Believe it or not. But that's kind of what what they say. Like like I said, you expect a ton of kills in Friday the 13th movies, not a ton in Nightmare on Elm Street movies. That's because Freddy is like a cat playing with a mouse.
That's true.
He always plays around, puts them in these different scenarios, makes them run and chase them. Just waits for the right moment. How many times doesn't even get them? Because multiple times people go into dreams multiple times and come out multiple times. Somehow escape. You come face to face with Jason, you're done. So I get that, but I really wish he had more. He had more kills than he did because he only had the one. Even though he tried.
He only had one kill in that?
Yeah. He only killed the
brother, right?
The brother, yep.
Wow.
He almost got the girl, but like I said, that was put to an end. Like what you're talking about, like he stops that girl from being raped because he drives a big steel pipe into him, but she's on top of her, while she's passed out. So that pipe goes to her too. So like he traps her in the locker and he rips the locker open and he's about to go in, and then he gets a face full of blood because Jason killed in real life, so she dies in the dream. And there was another scene where he almost got somebody, but he admitted he gave Jason a pass on that one because he wasn't strong enough. Like where
the shadow,
where he catches that kid in the street and he comes, his big long body comes up and slashes him, and the kid looks and says like, "I'm still alive," and he runs off. And Freddy's standing there frustrated, says, "Not strong enough yet. I guess I'll let Jason have a little more fun."
That's awesome.
And then then he wakes up and his father's sitting there next to him and his head falls off, and then he stands up in shock and there's Jason, throws the machete. You don't see it connect, but you see the blood smear on the wall. So
Actually,
yeah. So
let me
that's
let me pause this real quick just so I can take this phone call.
sure.
All right, so we're back. I had to take a little quick intermission, phone call, go pee and stuff. And we were talking about Freddy vs. Jason. So you want to continue on?
Yeah. So that movie right there, like I said, that having the different actor, didn't set well. Freddy lack of kills and the acting in it. Again, like I said before, none of them acting in these movies were that stellar. There's no except you had one of the girls from Destiny's Child in this one.
Kelly Rowland, which
Kelly
she
Rowland
was fine as
wasn't
hell.
half bad. She didn't do too bad of a job in it. Not great, but not bad either.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's one thing about the movie is as somebody personally, believes in heaven and hell. Hell is not some place where psychos get to continue on their earthly doings of go around stalking and killing people. Because that's kind of how that's how Jason made his introduction. Both him and Freddy are living in hell. Jason's got the good life, in there killing as he pleases. Freddy can't stand it because he only exists when people remember him. Like he haunts people in their dreams.
Mm-hmm.
It's no fun, and when you're in hell and you don't get that option, nobody dreams anymore.
That's true.
So, but so it's like, but the reason why Jason willingly leaves is because Freddy poses as his mother and tells him that he needs to go here, and Jason would do anything for his mother.
Which I thought was cool though. Like,
yeah, that was a very nice touch. I mean, she looks a lot different, but obviously Betsy Palmer, I think, is long past by
which
now.
I want to say, rest in peace to Betsy Palmer. I wish I could have met her and got her autograph. That was the original Jason movie with her, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
So rest in peace to her.
Yeah. So I know they had to do that, but and like I said, some of the fight scenes, were pretty cool. Some of them were pretty brutal. You almost kind of felt bad for Freddy at some points. I know he owned Jason big time at some points, but when Jason got the upper hand, it's like he almost beat him down to the point where he almost looked like he was about to already start sobbing.
I wish he did.
But it's like, but here's a real fun fact. I wasn't gonna say this in my first movie I mentioned, Part 8, but I wasn't gonna wait to get to this one. But a real fun fact about the guy who plays Jason in Freddy vs. Jason, Ken Zinger, right? Is he actually had a very small role in Part 8, and him and Kane Hodder do battle. Because another reason why they like Part 8 is because he just massacres everybody he comes in contact with, but he just kind of scared people off with just by showing his face or beat people up. There was a scene where the two people he's chasing run into this restaurant, screaming, "Somebody's trying to kill us!" And the waitress just kind of grins at him and says, "Welcome to New York."
Mm.
And then Jason bursts through. They take and they take off, and and everybody's screaming. And then this big muscular cook from the back comes out. Has no idea who he's taking on. Comes up to him, and try to kick this guy out. Instead, Jason grabs a hold of him and chucks him across the restaurant, slams into the wall. That cook was Ken Zinger,
Yeah.
who plays Jason in Freddy vs. Jason. So it was almost kind of I mean, as much as we all wish Kane Hodder played Jason, it was almost kind of like his Ken Zinger's revenge for getting his ass whooped in Part 8.
That's true.
He beat out Kane Hodder, for the role, and what at the time was the last, Jason movie to come out.
They actually, jumping onto that, they actually dicked Kane over with that because originally Kane Hodder was supposed to be in this movie.
Yeah.
Like he had a script and everything, and then they pretty much didn't have the balls to tell him that he wasn't in it. Like they just kind of acted like they didn't know what was going on type of deal. Again, you get this from the book, which I don't know if you're a big reader or not.
I don't know if I used to. It's kind of harder now, when you have kids.
But I have the audiobook on my phone. I don't know if I can send it to you for free or not, or if I can. You know what? I'm not going to incriminate myself. We'll discuss this after the podcast. But again, I highly recommend it because then you hear so much about like shit from the Jason movies and stuff, which is awesome, and just about his life, which I think is fucking awesome. And
yeah.
I can't wait to meet him again, and I hope you get to meet him again.
I
I hope you
do.
get to meet him.
I hope he gets to come. I hope he comes around again.
But so like I said, he was supposed to play that part, but he kind of got dicked out of that part. And I think the movie would have been a little bit different had he been able to be in the part. And as you guys can see from hearing this podcast, we are some fucking huge Kane Hodder fans.
Word.
And shit. So, Rob, you can keep going. You have more to say?
Yeah, I think that about wraps that one up. So, it's just definitely one of the worst of the movies, and that's, it's kind of where it's starting to get, like, I don't hate these movies, but, there's just something about them. There's something about the next one that's a little bit better, and then as it we go further down the line, then, these are movies I really love, but it's something, something about the one, that places before it just, struck me just a little bit more.
So, I say once we get to our 6th overall pick, you want to do, like, a recap?
Yeah.
Just, like, let people know what we left, from 12 to 7, what our lists were, just to remind them. And Henry's actually going to call, he said, I'll call it as soon as the cable guy that looks like him leaves. So
depending on how soon he got there.
He'll be calling us.
He
could be calling us in shortly. Hopefully, we get a call in from him, because me and Rob are having a great time with this podcast. And me, Rob, and Henry are a trio, even though 2 of us are in Albany or in upstate New York and the other one's in Colorado, but we're a horror trio. So, yeah, hopefully he can call in. And back on this list, what do you think is next for me?
Okay, I bet the next one for you is probably going to be, I want to say the remake now.
Oh, this fucking... I'm not even mad. But he's right. It's the remake. And the remake I really did enjoy. Like, the fucking... I actually went to see this movie 2 times in theaters, paid for it both times. And that's saying a lot coming from a black man, because we don't like doing that. Especially the way these ticket prices are.
Oh, I know. Even then, it's like, it's been over 10 years since the movie came out. Still, ticket prices were
at least
bullshit.
10 to 12 bucks.
Yep.
But the intro to the movie was fucking awesome, I thought. And I just, like... I'm kind of with Rob with the ups and downs of the movie. Like, I get what he's saying about the Archer. The thing I did like about this movie, though, I'm going to say, is I like how Jason was a little bit smarter and, like, really, really knew the campgrounds and did shit. Because I'm like, he's been there his whole fucking life. He should kind of adapt to it more and more.
Right.
I did enjoy that. I think, and the reason why this isn't higher on my list, to be honest with you, besides the little corny jokes and stuff that Rob was saying in it, is I didn't really like how it was like a new age, let's just say now, I mean, this movie's like 10 years old, 9 years old now, but like kind of a new age, let's say we're speaking in 2009, a new age movie. I wish the way they would have did this movie, remake / reboot, whatever. I know the first 3 movies were combining it, which was kind of cool, but it would have been cool to make 3 movies out of that too.
Right.
But I wish they would have went back to the 80s feel with this. And going back for people who are saying, oh, that wouldn't work, da-da-da-da. You know why it would work? Is because they did it with It. It was fucking amazing to me. Like how they went back, you know what I mean? Like I know It came out, 2017 or 18?
17.
I forgot. 17?
Yep.
It came out in 2017, but they still had it with the old school feel, the older feel.
Yeah, the way people talk, the way people dress, the way the towns look, the way,
everything.
The way people got around.
And then the technology they had around then. And I feel they could have did that with the Jason. They could have did that with the remake, and I bet you the remake would have been in the top half of my list. Maybe Rob's list. I'm not going to speak for him, but I'll say if they would have did it more towards that, and just and then the douchey characters I didn't like too much.
Like,
I mean,
can we not find good characters? Yeah, that's
what?
one thing I wanted to say about the last film I did. So once you're done, I want to come back here and I want to readdress that.
For what?
For Freddy vs. Jason. I had a fun fact. Well, I had a fun fact already, but there was another thing.
Go ahead.
One thing I wanted to say about that, is Texas Chainsaw 3D could have taken a huge, because that movie came years after Freddy vs. Jason. They could have taken a huge freaking tip and it could have made a much better movie for skipping one lame-ass line. Because Freddy vs. Jason had one of those. But you know what they used it for? Strictly for a deleted scene and for a preview. Did not make the final cut. Which was when, they already did battle. Freddy vs. Jason already did battle once in the dream. But then when she pulled Freddy out, and and Jason's standing right there, and then you realize, okay, I can't get this chick. I gotta deal with him, or else my ass is grass. They're like charging each other, and when they showed that scene in the preview, the chick who's one of the final survivors says something like, Freddy versus Jason, place your bets.
Oh, man.
So fucking stupid, first of all. But if it's a preview, it worked. If it's a deleted scene, you're like, oh my gosh, thank God that did not make it. But that's stupid. But they did not make it in the final film, in the final cut of the film. Unlike fucking Texas Chainsaw 3D, with, slide the chainsaw, do your thing, cuz. Oh my God, that ruined that movie right there. The movie already wasn't great. But if I was on the line, am I going to like this movie, am I going to hate this movie? As soon as that came out, like, yep, hate this movie. This sucks.
You know what? Just to branch off of that before I get back into this list, I have another fucking podcast idea I want to do, and yes, I'm sharing it with the world. I want to do a podcast with you and hopefully Henry and maybe whoever else. We'll each take, let's say, 3 or 4 movies. Obviously, you got to kind of know the movies, and just talk about how shitty they were. Maybe, you know what? We'll do 3 movies. Each of us will pick 1 movie.
That should we just like in general how shitty they were, or should have been great, but we're total shit.
Both, like everything. Like,
I can name 3 B horror movies right now that were total garbage, and we're kind of expected to be garbage.
But I mean, like, that's tough. You know what we should do? We should do one. I don't know if we can do it in 1 episode or not. And again, I know we're dragging this podcast along, but I don't care because it's fun. We could do it how maybe a movie that you thought would be shitty, but you actually enjoyed, and it could be a B movie. I don't care if it's something that nobody heard of, and then we could do one that you thought was gonna be like, holy shit, this is gonna be so good, and it just bombed. It just way below your expectations.
I think I could do a little bit of both. Kind of mix everything in there. Something that should have been great, had high expectation, totally flopped, or
so we'll do 2 movies. So that'd be 6 movies. We'll do 2 movies each. 1 movie that we had high expectations for, 1 movie we had low expectations for each of us. We'll let each other know the lists, so maybe we can all get familiar with the movies, kind of, sort of. Or at least, we'll let each other know the lists, I think. I don't know, I'm kind of still thinking about this, or we could bring them up during the podcast. But I'm only saying let each other know the list ahead of time so we can kind of have a discussion about the movies.
Yeah, I think either one works.
Either or.
Because, unlike these, we know we've seen all these movies 100 times. So we're both real deep into them, But this, we could be totally, going, running off, have no clue. Like, you've seen the movie, I haven't seen it. I've seen the movie, you guys haven't seen it.
Exactly.
So
that'll work. That could work. We'll figure it out. We'll discuss it. But back into the list with the remake. Again, like I said, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the kills, and like the bow and arrow thing didn't really bother me too much. Like, I get what you're saying.
It didn't bother me when I first saw it. The more I kind of thought about it, I was like...
But it's like, he was such a great archer. But again, I look at it like, you don't know how many years he's been at the camp. You know what I mean?
Right. And
he's killed countless people. And then you could kind of look back to part... Was it 2? Was it 3? What part was it where they're doing archery at the camp?
I think that was part 1.
That was part... No. Was it part... Oh, so his mother was the one that...
Yeah, because there was a scene in part 1 where, I don't know if they were actually doing archery or not, but, like, the girl's running away, and, like, these lights come on.
Okay, that's part 1.
And she's, like, and there's, like, behind her, the archery.
And the bow and arrows are getting shot at her.
I don't know if that happened or not, but I know it was there. I remember I wrote a short story in high school.
Do you still have that story?
Somewhere I do, and my parents were actually called in.
Would you share this story on the podcast?
Oh, hell yeah!
You have to listen.
But that was one of the that scene inspired one part of it, and a lot of horror movies inspired that, and that's where I got the ideas from. But my teacher thought I was psychotic.
I'm actually going to bring something else up right now on the podcast, another podcast exclusive. I was actually talking to my cousin Jared. Me and him were writing a short story together. This is a couple years ago, which we're going to get back into. And what we're going to do is when we get back into writing it, we're actually going to start reading the story on the podcast for episodes. So, again, if you have any short stories or stuff or whatever you want to share on the page, be more than welcome. And Rob, if you have short stories, if you want to work on something together, just for fun, shits and giggles, we can get into that. But, okay, so back to I'm going to join with that, a beer.
Yeah, I want to take this home to my wife. Let her try it. She's not pregnant. Yeah.
Good. She will be after that Cosby drink, though. I already know what you're getting ready to do. Yes, you'll hear this. This isn't getting edited out of the podcast. So, back to Freddy vs. Jason. Like I was saying, how I liked it, and like I said, overall I did enjoy the movie. It was fun. Or no, not Freddy vs. Jason. I mean the remake. Sorry.
Yeah.
Damn.
Actually, we'll back to Freddy vs. Jason for 1 second. Actually, I can't remember. I was with my friends from Massachusetts were visiting. I can't remember. We wanted to go see some lame ass movie. And I actually kept, saying, I gotta take a piss break. And I kept sneaking into Freddy vs. Jason. And
That's my guy.
And one scene I do remember seeing is like where Freddy, comes in as like the stoner worm, which is funny but stupid. And then he takes over that stoner kid's body and injects Jason with stuff to knock him out. And then Jason cuts him in half before he passes out. I remember seeing that. There was like 1 or 2 other good scenes I saw. So I was like, man, I gotta see this movie.
Yep.
So that's a fun fact, something.
That's true.
Back before security was really bad.
Oh man,
they're terrible today.
You can sneak in the movies.
Maybe the little town of Vermont I was from at the time, wasn't such sticklers because that place closed down. Then another place, bought it and reopened the movie theater there. So maybe security's worth it. Back then, it's like I don't know if it was just the theater or if it was the fact you weren't going to see Jackass movies. The Jackass movies, yeah, security was super tight. Kids were getting kicked out left and right from those movies because they were always sneaking in.
Yep.
But anyways, back to the
remake. Like I said, the remake to me again would have been so much better if they just did it 80s style.
Yeah. You can do that.
I'm not gonna say it would have made the movie perfect, but it would have made the movie a hell of a lot better because I don't mind when they do a remake or a reboot of a movie. And I love because I know how people hate remakes. I actually enjoy them if they're done correctly.
Right.
And same thing with reboots.
I think the first remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre isn't half bad. I kind of dig it.
But I feel like they should stick to that time frame though. They should kind of stick to
right.
Cause that's the one thing that bothered. That's a huge thing that bothered me. And then just the victims they had in the movie were just kind of, like they had the black. They had of course they had the regular black dude, token black dude, whatever you want to call it. They had the Asian guy in this movie, which you don't see much.
Can't get laid if it's like dependent on it.
Then you have a bunch of the white guys. You have the white jock, which was the dickhead. And I will say one part that had me dying, and Henry, when you hear this podcast, and I will bring it up again if you do get a chance to call in, when there's a part of the movie where the cops come. Jason kills the cop. He's like on the roof.
Yep.
And he throws, the guy ends up outside. The guy I'm talking about, the main jock.
Yep.
Jason throws somebody off the roof onto the cop car. He screams like a bitch. Yo, we were laughing so fucking hard at that part, right? And like after I owned the movie, I can't tell you how many times I rewound it just to watch that part. There was that the guy had, and there was the part where he's banging the chick and he's cheating on his girl, which I do not condone because I'm happily married, and so is Rob, and so is Henry. But he's like, your tits are stupendous. I'm like, what the fuck kind of a stupid line is that?
I know.
Like, you couldn't say.
And he got multiple things to say about it too. It's like
they just
so stupid. And then
then they had a camcorder too, right?
Yeah, I think so. And then she's like, girl's beating down the door, because she knows there's a killer out there, and telling her to bug off, and he has the nerve to come out and say, "Oh, you've been out with this guy all day. Well, if you're gonna do that, you can just get out of here."
And he's fucking another chick
right in front of her. You're screwing this other whore,
And like,
I just couldn't stand that about. That's not just couldn't stand the movies. It's like
I was actually happy when he got killed off.
Yeah, it took way too long. I was hoping he'd be the first one, but it's always that guy, like the chick from, the Pris from Part 7 was the last one to get it.
And you know what?
Always happens.
You know what else was cool about the movie though? What I liked about it was remember when the guy came up with the tow truck thing or whatever?
Yeah.
And I forgot what the fuck he was talking to, but Jason hung a body on the back of the truck.
Yeah, that was that jerk off.
Good.
And he picked him up and threw him on it.
Good. He deserved it. He deserved every fucking bit of it. Fuck him. And like I said, this is another movie where it was fun. It wasn't horrible though. Like it's watchable. Like it's rewatchable.
Yeah, I watched it again not too long ago. Still didn't like. I've seen it 3-4 times.
I
don't like it
enjoy
anymore either time.
I enjoy it, but the more I talk about it, the more I think about it, I like it a little bit less. And like I said, if it just went with the '80s vibe, just that alone, if it went with the '80s vibe, and let's say you had the same characters, but again it was the '80s vibe, it might have worked a little bit better. And like these guys were going out to get weed,
Right.
which was just weird. Like
That's
first of all,
that's how it opened. There, they heard there's this big weed farm out there and fall upon it, and and then they're killed the second they find it.
pretty much. And my thing is, look, stop trying to steal Jason's weed. Give the motherfucker some money, and he would probably sell you some weed. And yes, I'm making the fun part of this because I have to. But leave Jason alone. Stop going to Camp Crystal Lake, people. Now we can move on with the list.
Oh, just one more thing about that.
Go ahead.
Like, is it because they went at night? Because that hillbilly, that he kills and finds his mask, farms it, and offers the guy some. So does he go out in the day and pick it, and Jason doesn't care? But if you, go out at night and try to steal it, you're gonna get it.
Well, I think with that though, those guys were kind of. That's a good question.
Well, they're camping out there.
Yeah.
But the guy lives there.
That's true.
So how's this guy survived all this time? Dumb, redneck. Survived all till this moment, but Jason randomly shows up and kills him.
Well, maybe all this commotion that these motherfuckers brought from going to Jason's camp, he was like, look, this nigga over here is living on my camp. He ain't paying no damn rent, and he's stealing my weed. So I'm going to have to kill him, and he gets the mask.
So if I ever decide to make an honest living, I'll stop killing and start dealing,
Yeah,
there it goes. He's doing it all for me.
Weed's legal now in Colorado.
Exactly.
And it's getting closer and closer all around
it's
these
legal
states.
in Vermont, too.
Boom.
Yeah, so July. You would go, friggin' taking a trip back to going home and, knock on some old friends' doors like, yo, nigga, hook me up.
There we go. And Jason is going to kill people for stealing his weed. Now.
And for every other reason.
Let's go on to your next list.
All right.
Let's see your next.
Okay, now I'm going to flip this page over.
Let me see if I can guess it.
All right.
Freddy No, you already did Freddy
I did that.
Jason Goes to Hell.
Bingo.
Finally, I got one right.
Yep. And this is one that I don't hate. I actually kind of enjoy it.
You're
But
higher on your list than I thought you would, to be honest with you.
I know. Well, that's what I said. I said, the lack of Jason, I don't like everything, but something I don't like about it, I dig the kills in it. I remember that was when I was a real young kid, and remember when you go to the convenience store and you could rent movies?
I miss those fucking days.
Remember that shit?
VHS movies.
VHS movies. They were empty and they just had styrofoam up in them. But there was a spot in the convenience store, walking around to any convenience store, and boom, you go rent movies. And the whole case was right there. You pick it up, look at the back, read the description. I love the cover. I still to this day love the cover of Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh, it's probably one of the best movie covers of the series.
And it fits too.
It does.
Because that's exactly what it is. When people at school, when I was in school, and my parents won't let me watch it, these kids that I go to school with, my parents let me watch it, and it's awesome, and it's so great, and yada, 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 and I can't watch it, so I'm like, I was dying to see this movie. I finally saw it, I was like, okay, that was a bit of a letdown, because there was barely any Jason in it, and the worm thing was weird, and the dagger, like you talked about,
Yep, there it
was
is right
really,
there. Oh, sorry.
Yep. So it was really ridiculous. But I mean, yeah, that worm thing coming out of there, having that's so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And when the hell does this mask come metal? And it looks like
Yeah.
I want to give I know he's not gonna hear it, but there's this guy who does videos one of my absolute favorite videos. He does live videos, so it's clips of movies. So Dr. Wolfula, he is funny as.
Is he on Facebook
hell.
or YouTube?
Yes.
You have to send me his thing because
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to connect with him to possibly get a podcast with him because that's what I do, and you'll be here for
He
it.
does two different characters. He does Dr. Wolfula, which he's in this full this cloak, he wears this wolf mask, which the old one he had he was first doing it, I thought looked a lot better. He has these sunglasses on, one sunglass is missing, and he has this other one where plays this green guy called Goulash. So
Right.
he's
I like goulash. It's
But-
delicious.
but yeah, I don't that one's okay. It's he's more kind of almost he's almost scared of his own shadow. But Dr. Wolf is funny as hell, and he had I think the best one he did was Jason Goes to Hell, in my opinion. I think that's the best one he did. But one thing he pointed out is it looks like his face is trying to eat his mask.
It does.
It almost looks metal. It looks like his face is trying to warp itself around his mask. And
Looking at it, yeah, it does.
And he
Looking
makes
at
a comment about, You know, like he says, "Oh, did they have to send the whole army out here to destroy him? You know, is this really necessary?" And then they show like where he's just in pieces. Like well, at least the movie's over. And he always gives the movie the ranking. I give Jason Goes to Hell wait a minute, there's more of this shit. Damn it!
I'm definitely going to check that shit out.
It looks like the movie's over in the first 5 minutes, but it goes on.
It does.
And it's just weird, you know, how like he almost like does like a telekinesis thing from part 7, like his heart, you know, makes the guy eat it, you know, in which he becomes Jason. And like I said, some stellar kills. The unrated version's so much better. Like when the couple's screwing in the tent, he picks up like that big, you know, railroad, like looks like a
railroad spike.
Like a railroad spike. It looks like the thing that they put in the railroad to put up signs. Drives it through her. I mean, like that's about as much as you see. Like you see, like kind of go through it, then like the guy on the bottom, like getting blood, you know, spattered on him, and then you see like outside, he like does the lift up motion, but you don't see what happens, and then you just hear the guy screaming, and then the doctor. You know, the doctor, the surgeon there, whose body's taken over, just wanders off. So, you know, he killed both of them. But in the uncut scene, like, you see him lifted up, and he rips right through her, and her body just falls in half. I mean, you can tell it's fake. It looks fake, but it's still cool.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check that. I gotta rewatch that one again. I mean, like I said, I watched 1 through 7 recently. I didn't watch the rest, but I think I'm gonna have to watch the rest just to kind of get a refresher, even though we're doing this countdown already.
Right, and like back to one of the other ones I was talking about. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was part 7, where he's this big, you know, immortal dude who just, you know, can just rip any part of people's bodies out, rip them in half, punch them, stuff like that. And like when he finally gets his body back, you know, he crushes the bounty hunter, because he's you know stuck. He handcuffs him to him, so that's how he gets away from him. But then when he goes outside and he's chasing that that nerdy guy around, they take like a freaking like a metal pipe and just love tapping him. It's like one swat and the guy would be cut in half, even though it's not sharp at all. That's how much power he's got. And he's like, you know, like a kid with a stick just whacking on him. It's like, really? Come on, that's pathetic. You know, I know this guy's got to survive in the end. But as I said, the dagger was weird. I mean, it's just some kid who was mentally challenged, drowned in the lake one day because teenagers were screwing instead of watching him. And somehow he comes back, you know, to protect his lake. And now he's this immortal figure that can only be killed by this dagger nobody knew existed. And like I said, they do a prop to the Evil Dead. I've watched all the Evil Dead movies. I'll admit it with no shame. I don't love them. I don't think I missed what was so great about them. You know what people put like the cult status into them. I'm glad I watched them. They're worth watching, but I just don't they just weren't like incredible. So I remember there was a book, but I don't remember a lot about it. But I guess like the book is seen in the movie if you watch close, and that's so Jason's a deadite, they say.
Yep.
So that could be a part of it. But all these years, 20 years later, is when the director finally comes out and says.
It would have been better if they would have said something sooner.
Right, if you made that extremely clear. It would have been so much.
Oh, and here's Henry.
All right.
Hello?
Yo.
What's up, man?
Not much. Just hanging out.
So, we're here doing a list. And I'll give you a recap of what I'll give you my recap real quick, and then Rob will give you his recap of what we did so far, like the countdown. So, starting with
thank you very much.
Huh?
Good.
Starting with the least favorite to the favorite. Mine was Jason. Jason Goes to Hell was the least, followed by Jason X, followed by Jason Takes Manhattan, which is part 8, followed by Freddy vs. Jason, and then the remake. And then after that, I didn't get to the next one yet. And so, Rob, you can read your list off.
All right. Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Friday the 13th Remake, Part 7. Part 5, Freddy vs. Jason. And just did Jason Goes to Hell.
So I don't know if you have I don't know, because I know you were saying you really didn't have much time to kind of rewatch these, but do you kind of have an idea of your least favorite Jasons, or?
My least favorite, honestly? Probably the first one.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
I can respect it.
I respect it. That's a little different. You want to get into it more about like why that's your least favorite?
Just like for me, it was. I got like the least interesting out of all of them.
I
But but it set the tone. Obviously, it set the tone for the rest of the series. But I mean, Jason wasn't the killer, and there wasn't too many kills in it. And
I can get
A
that.
lot of behind the scenes kills too, like
Yeah.
bodies found instead of
Actually killed on
Yeah.
actually
screen.
killed off.
a lot of implied things.
I respect that though. Can you now? I mean, again, like I said, I know you didn't get enough time. Do you think you can give us your bottom five? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You think you can give us your bottom five, or do you kind of have?
So with my least favorite being the first one, so I need 4 more.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, if like I said,
I'd say 1,
mm-hmm.
3,
Ooh.
3. I mean, I'm sure like at the time when it came out, like it's great, but like it was just by the time I finally saw the movie, which was probably around the same time you did,
Yeah.
it didn't do it for me.
Wow.
Especially if you're watching it without the 3D glasses.
Naked.
You're not getting the full effect. I'd love to see a remake of that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I think one reason why part 3 might, I mean, it ranks pretty high on mine, but
Mine
one reason
too.
why people like that because it was a lot different than the others is like there wasn't a lot of kills throughout. It kind of
Well, when it came out though, it was a big deal. I know it was a big deal when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
and like there was kills here and there, but it wasn't like almost every scene somebody gets it. It almost almost like a big massacre at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
A few people
Oh yeah,
here and
see,
there.
I like blood, guts, and titties.
As we all do. I love blood.
That had a
Let's-
lack of both. I mean, the blood and guts was
In
there.
that order.
You like blood and guts more than titties?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, okay.
Horror movies.
For a horror movie, okay, I get it. I'm with you on that. Blood, guts, and titties.
Not in my everyday life.
BGT. Blood, guts, and
Not
titties.
that weird.
I told you that me, Rob, and Henry were a trio. That's our trio name. Blood, guts, and titties. In case you guys want to know. All right. So what would be your next one, Henry? Your that would be your third.
Jason X.
Jason. Okay. And you could go in on that if you want to. If not, you can go to your next list. It's up to you. I understand why.
I didn't like the mask.
Really, I liked it. I didn't love it.
It looked too form fitting to his face.
Okay. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I get what you mean. But maybe part of it was because of that little machine thing that he fell on that kind of rejuvenated him or regenerated him or whatever. But I do get what you're saying with that.
Well, no, not the Uber Jason. Before that.
Oh, before he was Uber.
You could really see Kane Hodder.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which usually is a good thing, but
Right. I mean, he looked more human, even though he's supposed to be less and less human as these movies go on.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, Henry's another big Kane Hodder fan. I'm sure that's his favorite Jason also. But
absolutely.
Okay. Keep going though.
I just space and things that have to do with space just don't interest me.
Nah, it did.
Like, space is it's stupid.
It didn't make
done
sense.
so many times too.
It
With,
didn't.
Classic movies. Leprechaun did it.
2 Girls, 1 Cup did it.
Oh my. Oh.
Now,
they did.
actually, that. Hang on. I know this is way off topic, but 2 Girls, 1 Cup in Space. I'm gonna ask you both. Would you watch it?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you already know how it's gonna go because there's no gravity, so the poo and the puke is just gonna go up.
But would you watch it? Yeah, you would watch
Oh
it.
yeah.
Well, how would you position the cup? I mean, like you wouldn't put it right under her asshole. You'd probably put it right
All right,
above
so you
it.
just have to hold the cup above the butt.
Yeah,
Upside
probably
down.
have a bigger one. 'Cause it ain't gonna perfectly.
Or maybe
and make sure there's enough room for wherever it goes, you can catch it.
I've watched it at least 4 times. And Henry, I know you probably watched it at least 16 times. Just to make sure that it happened for real. So what would be next? You said, so far you said Jason 1, you said Jason 3, and you said Jason X. So you still got 2 more.
I mean, I liked Jason Goes to Hell.
But
they like the part with the eating the heart thing, that was pretty cool. But when they added the whole thing with his a family member has to kill him with that special knife.
Yeah, that was another thing about the day. It had to be a family member.
And
he freaking runs up, his sister's SWAT, to resurrect himself. Or was it his sister?
Yeah,
it was his sister.
That's not sexy at
And then
all.
you had that guy that
And I just realized that's his fucking sister, and he did. Ew. Oh.
Okay, I fucked it up. Yo, Henry, you know what's funny about that? And you weren't even listening to the podcast, obviously, because it's not live. You just called in, which I'm fucking happy as hell you did. So was Rob. But that was one part that actually bothered us. Not that I'm crawling up his sister's pussy part, which now that you say that, that's fucking fucked up. But the part about how you're saying the dagger with his family were having to kill him, we both already discussed this movie and saying like that part was kind of.
And if they
cheesy.
like 20 years later when they say it was kind of like a kind of went to the Evil Dead theme, like that showed the
He
book.
was a Deadite, yeah.
If they just made that more obvious, that movie could have been so much better. People would have probably like, oh, okay, we still don't like, we barely saw the real Jason. We saw his handiwork, but we didn't really see him. But
or if Ja Rule was in it,
that makes more. Yeah, kind of like Busta Rhymes in Halloween Resurrection.
That was fucking terrible.
But it's like
I didn't bother with that movie.
but yeah, it's like that may have helped it help people appreciate the movie a little more if they wasn't a big secret. I mean, there was already so much wrong with the movie. So much different that people really weren't grabbing onto.
Oh yeah, and then not to mention the one dude who said he was the only one that knew how to kill him, and the bounty hunter.
Yeah,
the black
like
dude.
my dad.
Yeah, that was your dad. Your dad had to stop
Not
acting. All right,
Big
so
hat.
what's your now? That was so you did Jason 3, Jason 1, Jason X, and Jason Goes to Hell. So what's your fifth one, and then you'll be all caught up with us.
Oh, I think. No. I mean, my favorite was Jason Lives. That was my favorite one.
That's part 6. No, you're supposed to wait till the end of the list. Oh,
Which one is the one with Tommy Jarvis dressed up? That was 5, right?
which
When
one?
He dressed at the very end when he was like wearing those high cut shorts.
No, that was part 4.
And like,
With your favorite actor, Corey Feldman, your favorite actor of all time.
Yep.
yeah, who stabbed himself. Someone ended him up.
So
Allegedly.
that's your next one. Is part 4.
Yeah. I
Now,
think I would have liked it better if Corey Feldman wasn't there.
can I ask you a question? What's your beef?
Absolutely.
What's your beef with Corey Feldman? Because this has been going on for quite a few years.
He's a cornball, man.
And you look,
He's an attention-craved cornball. I can't
And
stand him.
me and you,
I'll tell him to his face.
me and you have had this conversation plenty of times. And one time you told me it was none of my business and that it was personal.
He'll give you a different reason each time, right?
Yeah. And I'm just waiting for you guys. I'm waiting for all of us to one of these days go to a con together, and you two just start fist fighting out of nowhere like Peter and the chicken. Like you guys knew each other for years, but you really didn't. And you start fighting all over the place.
Jumping over 8x10s flying everywhere.
Yep, that's what I'm waiting for. Like you've been having this hate and this beef with him for a long fucking time.
I mean, it's really one-sided, but
Okay, so now the way we're doing it, I'm gonna tell you this. What we're doing is we're giving each other 2 guesses, right? To guess which one was next on our lists. And it's
I dropped the ball on that one.
no, you're good. So Rob is next. So I'm gonna give my 2 guesses, and then you can give your 2 guesses. And Rob, don't even answer until we both until we both give our guesses. And I'm gonna say part 4 for my first guess. Then I'm gonna say part 3 for my second guess. And then Henry, you want to give Rob your 2 guesses for what you think's next on his list? I said 3 and 4.
I don't even know. Well, I don't even know what ones were on his list.
8, part 8, the remake, part 7, part 5, Freddy vs. Jason have already been mentioned, and Jason Goes to Hell.
Okay, I was gonna say Freddy vs. Jason. Part 2.
You got 2 guys. You got one more guess.
2 and 5.
Okay. Well, nobody got it because it's Jason X.
Oh wow!
Yeah, this one ranks a little bit, ranks a little high, comparatively. But I will say that I thought it to be a very fun movie. I mean, I know the spacing's been done 100 times, but at least it had a decent reason. Like, I mean, I don't.
I'm gonna go pee real quick.
All right, sure.
You guys speak on.
Rylan just got mad at me because I was going to change the channel because it was on The Walking Dead. So I put that out there.
All right, so it's just Aaron's taking a break. He went to the bathroom, so it's just us. So,
Okay.
but why I say
But the thing,
go ahead.
the thing that saved Jason X for me, that made it watchable, was just like the kills.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, for almost no explained reason do we go into space so many times with all these other movies. Still wasn't a great reason, but it was almost acceptable. I mean, don't know how the hell he got caught, how he still looks in such great shape after all the shit he's been through in all these other movies.
Like a Deadite.
Yeah, exactly. He looks more human than ever. But he's captured. He gets away. He chases this girl. She traps him in that device to freeze him. But then he stabs her, which causes all the everything that's freeze. It seemed like the stuff that's freezing him would have frozen the door shut, not leaked out and spread everywhere and froze her and everything else. And then but I mean, minor details.
Did that, though.
Yeah, and so
You know what I mean? Instead of just saying, "Boom, the movie's in space," they set it up at least.
right. And then many years later, when we're in the future, years down the road, this crew comes along and finds multiple bodies, and both can be saved, and so they go ahead and do it. So it had a real good. At least they told a great story as to why they're doing this, and then just we're going to space for no reason whatsoever, and and then we're just gonna make this movie. At least
it made as much sense as it could.
Right. So, and then I said the kills were fun. You finally get this. Corey Feldman isn't the one that actually can defeat Jason. This this woman that robot can do it. But then you forget all about those little ant things. And they come out and save the day.
Personally, I just love seeing women kick ass.
Exactly.
So
it was nice to see, not only just a woman defeat him, which happened before, but just in the fashion she did, just whooped his ass, real good. And then a super surprise where those things come out, and not only put him back together, but give him a wicked upgrade. And that was wicked cool.
More strength. Which I'm back, people. I had to go pee. Made it to the
But it
party.
doesn't count because Jason being beat by the woman doesn't count because it was space.
Right.
Because it was what?
It was space.
That's legitimate.
But I mean, it definitely wasn't stellar on any of it, but it was fun, and at least, like I said, we're going to do something new by going to space, which is done 100 times. At least we finally told a good story as to why they're going there. Wasn't stellar, but it was a lot better than just because, we got no other ideas, so we're going to put it in space for no reason explained whatsoever. It did a real good job explaining why we're going there.
Yeah, it was.
Not to change the topic, but the next Chucky movie might be in space.
Oh man, they're just going to space for everything.
Oh man, there's 7 movies of that, right?
Child's Play.
Yeah, the last one was 7, right?
Child's Play 2, 3, Bride, Seed, Curse called 7. Yeah.
Yeah. So 8 movies in. That ain't bad. I mean, it's unfortunate it's going to happen.
10. So
10 to get Jason there.
Is every fucking movie going to what? Well, first of all, is every horror movie going to space? That's one. When is Freddy going to space?
Yeah.
My next thing is
Halloween didn't make it there, thankfully.
I hope it never does.
Yeah, same here.
Michael in space.
Hell no.
Michael versus Jason in space. How is that gonna fucking happen? Jamie Lee Curtis is gonna end up becoming a fucking astronaut.
Yeah, right.
And Michael's gonna go look for his sister, and Jason's just going just for a fucking free trip.
Yeah, he's cheap.
He is. So, Henry, I'll let you go next, but me and Rob are gonna guess what we think your next one is. And I'm gonna say part 2 and part 7.
I'll say part 5 and part 8.
Now, hold on. What? Now, I'm not as familiar with it as you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you say set, like, what happened in 8?
Part 8 was Jason Takes Manhattan. Part 7,
Okay.
sorry, I'll say like the title. Part 8 was Jason Takes Manhattan. Part 7 was
New Blood.
New Blood, which was the chick with the telekinesis. And what parts did you say?
I said part 5, which is the copycat killer,
And part...
and part whatever did I say? I didn't say 6 because he already mentioned that one.
Did I say part 2 or did you say part 2?
I think you said part 2.
Part 2 was the burlap sack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shit, we forgot that fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's.
Cosby got you forgetting.
Yeah, because
You damn right that Cosby got it.
Yeah, because you said part of it takes Manhattan.
I said Jason Takes Manhattan. I said part 7. I thought I said part 2. Did you say 7 and I said 2?
Maybe.
Anyways, okay, so Jason Takes Manhattan is part 8. Part 7 is the telekinesis chick. Part 2 is the burlap sack. And, yeah, so were either of us right?
Which one's on the telekinesis? 6?
7.
7, yeah. 7 would be my next.
Okay. You want to go in more detail with that, or?
Well, like I go back and forth with that one because I didn't like the telekinesis part,
Uh-huh.
but everything else about it was good.
I agree. I actually agree with you on that one. I mean, not where it is on my list, but like the telekinesis part didn't really bother me though. I thought it was kind of cool. It was fun, but yeah, I get what you mean. But
But the part was cool though when she used her power and broke his mask
yeah,
and it split in two, and I think that was the ugliest he's ever looked in all of the movies.
but it was actually, and Rob mentioned this because it was lower on his list or higher, however you want to say it. He actually mentioned this, and he mentioned the part like he said it was the best looking Jason, no homo, of all the series, like with the mask and without the mask. They did a really good fucking job on it. And part 7 is
Yeah,
actually
I'm gonna agree.
part 7 is actually the one where Kane Hodder first did the Jason role. Like that was his first movie. And I mentioned this earlier in the podcast, and I know you're gonna listen to it, but I was saying how with the book, which I know you read, how Kane was just like when he took this role really fucking serious. Like when he was in costume, he would stay away from the rest of the cast. He pissed in people's trailers. He was the best.
And also, that was the first time he had set himself on fire again
Since the time where he set himself on fire and had all those burns and was in the hospital for like 6 months, right? Or over a year?
Yeah, and when he was walking through the person's house, and
Yep.
so that was a big thing for him.
So he ended up going with 7.
Okay,
he went PP. So, I guess, is it my turn or is it your turn? I forgot.
Yeah, it's your turn.
It's my turn? So you guys want to guess what's next on my list? Henry, you each have 2 guesses.
Freddy versus Jason.
Or you know what? Let me give you a recap on mine, Henry. I did part 9. I did Jason Goes to Hell. I did Jason X, where he goes to space. I did Jason Takes Manhattan, which is part 8. I did Freddy vs. Jason, and I did the remake.
I would have thought Jason Takes Manhattan would have been higher on your list.
Nah. I've seen it so many times. That's why it was like where it was in a sense. Or else it would have been last. But Jason Goes to Hell was just my worst one. So I'll let you get your 2 guesses again, just because you weren't for the whole thing.
Yeah.
So what 2 do you? Huh?
I know you like the one Jason Lives.
That's part 6. Nope. You got one more guess.
5. That's the one with the copycat killer.
Nope. All right, Rob.
That you spoiled for me.
I did. Yeah, I did.
You did.
Which I'm gonna go into that. Well, I'll tell that story first. Let me let Rob get his 2 guesses in.
All right, I say part
That was
2.
a long week.
Part 2.
Part 2, and if you haven't done part 7 yet, I'll guess that.
No, it's actually part 4. But now back to remember how we were talking about how the DVD came out and it had like Jason's mask on the front and all that.
Yeah.
When it first came out, I paid like what $80 for it. Henry, you were there with me at FIE, and
Brand new, yeah.
we watched this movie. He came over, like, obviously, I've known him for over 20 years, so he'd come over on, like, a Friday, stay the whole weekend. We watched this movie within that. We watched every single movie within that weekend.
Nice.
And part 5, we got to part 5, and I don't know how soon I told him, but probably when we put the movie on, I was like, yo, Jason's about to kill him. This movie. It's a copycat. Which was probably fucked up to do, but, I mean, like I said, he's like a brother. He's my brother. He deserves it. He's done some dumb, fucked up shit to me in the past.
I think you were just giving me a heads up.
Either way, I should have let it be a surprise. And you know what, Henry? I apologize for that. I shouldn't have did that. I was wrong. It's taken me some years to, apologize for. I know it's been bothering me for the past 15 years, whatever. I'm sorry.
You got sleepless nights.
Yeah. Now,
Oh,
he cried a lot. Now, with part 4, like, overall...
no, we drank so much Red Bull.
Huh?
We drank so much Red Bull that weekend.
Yes, we did.
The homo.
So, for part 4, like, overall, good movie. I'm going to tell you the biggest reason why I didn't like it. And it's, like, I didn't like how, I don't like Corey Feldman. He doesn't bother me as much as he bothers Henry. They have a beef. That's been going on for probably 20 years now. Corey just doesn't know.
Yeah.
Corey just doesn't know about it yet. And he was in Albany a couple weeks ago, but you had already moved then, or else that fight would have probably happened last week. But
Was he really?
yeah, he knew you were out of here for about fuck. What the hell was he here for?
Was he doing a movie?
I think he was looking here to fight. Personally, I know the media's gonna change it up, but I think it was for like the whole pedophilia that goes on in Hollywood. I think he was here to discuss that. But I think he was really here looking for you. I think he was really here looking for you to fight. That's what I really think it was. But you had already moved to Colorado. That's what it was.
Hey, I'm closer to California.
But anyway.
Hit me up on Facebook.
Oh shit, that would be hilarious. Corey Feldman versus Henry Ballard. Oh shit. But anyways, with part.
Dude can't even.
Huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, and then I'll get into it.
No, I was gonna say, because remember when he had that he did some song on what was that, Good Morning America?
I didn't even know he did that.
And yeah, look it up. And then he got roasted on the internet. Everyone was fucking with him, and then he posted a video of himself crying, telling people like bullies are wrong and stuff. And I'm like, yo, this dude just keeps proving my point.
Shit. But like I said, my main reason why I didn't like the movie, I didn't like how he killed Jason in the end of the movie. I thought that was kind of corny, in my opinion. And Ty Melissa's overall was a good movie. I didn't like the whole how he went up, like he went and looked at the newspaper and cut his hair, kind of looking like Jason, and was like calling Jason,
Right?
And like how how it was supposedly kind of confusing Jason at the end. I thought that was kind of stupid. Like it
sees himself.
It did.
Yeah, he was.
I get what he was doing.
Yeah, because he had no idea. He had no idea that the chick from part 2 replicated his mother.
Yeah.
Or maybe he did. I don't know if that was in the news. Or I doubt it.
He looked a little confused with the mother's, with that when she put the sweater on, which wouldn't confuse me, but Jason's.
Which is understandable. But he knows who he is.
Exactly.
That's not me talking to me.
Right.
and on top of that, I don't talk. Like he was like Jason, and with his fucking little stupid ass haircut and shit.
Right.
And
with his little nutsack hanging out the bottom of his shorts. Come on, pants are too short. Come on, Corey.
He really doesn't like Corey Feldman. Like this isn't fake. Henry really doesn't like him.
So the style back then. I don't know how you could do it.
Thank God we didn't. Thank God we weren't around that age, around that time, because there'd be some fucked up pictures of us.
Can you imagine playing professional
basketball? I had hammer pants.
You probably would.
Before I moved to New York, I had hammer pants.
Oh shit, that's hilarious. But like I said, like I didn't like how he killed him at the end. I felt like that should have been a little bit different. And then how the movie
beating his fist on his chest. Right? Wasn't he just beating his excuse me? Didn't he just like run up to him and just start beating him on the chest with his fist? Like
no, what happened was like after they got him knocked down, he was hitting him with the machete in his head, just saying die, 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 die.
Which
and
is
then
a lot more obnoxious in recounting, in part 5. They keep replaying that. It's like, oh, enough already.
And then when they after that, whatever, his sister picked him up and hugged him, and then it showed Corey Feldman's face, like looking in the camera, like, okay, maybe he'll be the next killer when he gets older. Something crazy happens, but it didn't because part 5 happened.
Right.
Yeah,
But
he ended up getting molested instead.
wow, he went there. Fuck it. But like I just no, you don't got to stop at all, man. This is entertaining. But I just like I really enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the story of it. That was the part that really fucking bothered me about it. I thought it was cool how he would make the masks and all that stuff, and how he was kind of, he would do his little things with that. I thought it was a little weird though. How remember when him and his sister met the dude in the woods or whatever, wherever the fuck they met the dude,
Yeah, they met him on the side of the road
and they invited him to the house, to the cabin, so fucking like no. Okay, you help me
That's
fix
what
the
white people do.
Is that what white people do, Rob?
country folk probably, and that's kind of what they look like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
But I'm just like, you're gonna let a grown ass man
backpacker.
He's
got everything on his shoulders,
and he had a machete and shit. He could easily kill all them people and rape them and then kill them, whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, so if it wasn't for the fact that we already knew Jason, resurrected, and we probably would have suspected him being the copycat killer.
Yeah, which they kind of they kind of threw it towards that a little bit until he's.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I would be more likely to invite someone that had, a family with them in my cabin than just
some random dude
who can fix a car.
Yeah, who could fix a car.
Like you.
And that part kind of bothered me because I'm thinking like, I know it was the '80s and shit, and life was a little bit different then, but still, you have to have that sense like, should I trust this dude? Like the girl, she could be like, he could rape me, or he could rape my little brother Corey. Well, his name wasn't Corey in the movie, but and the mother didn't have any problem with it at all.
Right.
She was just, like when he was in the house, she's cool with it. Bring him.
There's no dad. Maybe maybe she's gonna upgrade. Go a little younger.
Or that's for the daughter. You never know. Or the son.
Good babe.
But I'm just saying though, like just think about this though, right? Like just imagine yourself as a kid, and let's say us three are kids, and we'll say we go to each one of our parents' house with some random grown man. They're not gonna be like, oh hey, welcome. Who the fuck is this?
Hell no.
Like who the fuck is what the fuck are you guys doing with this grown ass man coming in the house? Who the fuck is he? We found. Because again we'd be kids. Our bike broke down and he helped us fix it, so we figured we'd just invite him over. No, that's not gonna fucking happen. No, get the fuck out of here.
Like, is this your home?
Yeah, you wanna hang out? And what was crazy is because he ran upstairs in the bedroom with Corey.
Yeah.
To look at his fucking mask.
There, and like,
He's like, you should come to my room. Cool. That's weird.
If you can look directly, like the room's right off the kitchen wherever they're in, and you can see the whole room where they're at. That's one thing. No, come upstairs.
Yeah, come upstairs in my bedroom and play with me. That bothered me. Between that and the killing.
Because with Corey Feldman, art was imitating life at that point. So yeah, invite the creepy the old dude to your room. Nothing will happen.
And then the stuff I love the kills in the movie. I loved how Jason loves throwing people through fucking windows. I just love that shit.
That's what I love. Jason Lives, because that was the one had two of my favorite Jason kills. The first one was when he took that chick in an RV and pushed her face.
Oh yeah. Yup.
And then the other one was when he grabbed the black chick and threw her through the window and then pulled her back in.
Yep, that's what he does. That's what Jason
remember,
does.
I was crying. Yeah, how many times did we rewind that part?
I don't even remember. As a matter of fact, I'll bring this part up again. I was telling Rob about the remake. Remember when Jason threw somebody off the roof in the remake and it hit the person laying on the cop car and the homeboy was in the cop car screaming?
Oh, I was dying.
Yo, we were on that part how many fucking times too? But yeah,
we went to go see that opening weekend.
I told him too. We went to go see that movie twice, and I was telling him how black people don't like paying for that stuff twice. So that says a lot.
That tells you how good it is.
And I was, that's what I liked and didn't like about part 4. Like, again, the whole having the random dude coming over and nobody was concerned about that. That was weird to me, and I didn't like how Corey Feldman killed off Jason. Everything else about the movie I actually enjoyed. And we can go on to, excuse me. How many movies did you do so far, Rob? I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2.
You did 6, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh,
And
1,
mind
2,
you, I
3.
don't have a list, so I'm just.
No, that's fine. So I'm just gonna go through a quick recap of the list that I did. Rob's gonna do the same. And I mean, Henry, if you hear a movie that you've said already, you could just kind of tag along and say, yeah, I did that. So I'll start with mine. For my least favorite, I did Part 9. Rob, what did you do?
Let's see, Part 8.
Which Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell. Part 8,
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Jason Takes Manhattan. For my next one, I did Jason X slash, he goes to space. Rob, what did you do?
Remake.
And Henry, where was do you remember your least favorite? You said
First one.
first one. Do you remember your second least favorite? Part 3. Was it Part 3?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, and then my next one was Jason Takes Manhattan. Rob,
Part 7.
which was
New Blood.
Well, do you remember yours, Henry? For your third one?
It was the fifth one, the Psycho Ward one.
Fifth one? Okay.
Right?
I don't remember, honestly.
The only thing I liked about that movie is when Tommy Jarvis bodied that dude and slammed him to the table.
That was dope.
Yep.
Yeah.
My next one was Freddy vs. Jason. Rob,
Part 5.
Part
New
5.
Beginning, Copycat Killer.
Henry, what was yours?
I don't remember.
That's all right.
Oh, the one's telekinesis.
Telekinesis, okay, Part 7.
Okay.
And then my next one was the remake.
Mine was Freddy vs. Jason.
You remember your next one, Henry? Because I don't.
What number are we at?
Huh?
Which?
5. It's 5.
5. Going from the bottom, Part 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5.
Oh, no, I said the telekinesis one.
You said that one, I think.
Yeah.
I know you said. I forgot. But
See, now, I'm torn because there's there's things I like the thing I liked about Jason Takes Manhattan is the concept of it,
Mhm.
and the whole he gets on the boat, goes to Manhattan that way. What I didn't like about it was his costume.
hmm
I didn't like how he looked.
I can see that.
I don't understand why the mask looks more newer, because he actually steals it from the guy trying to prank his girlfriend on the boat.
Oh,
First one
that
he gets
makes
on.
sense. That makes
That's
sense.
right at the very
He
beginning.
loses his
Yep.
mask because it rips off when the girl tries to crush his head, and his mask breaks in half. So the one he's been wearing the whole time is all busted up.
And he was wet. He was wet throughout the whole movie. You mean to tell me he didn't dry off once?
Yeah, he dries off perfectly on all the other boys, but this one,
That's true.
yeah, every time he walks, it's squeak, squeak, squeak.
Listen. He had them boots for a minute.
Right.
Nobody would take him to pay less, and he's been in the water for a long time.
Probably
I
spent a
guess.
hell of a lot more
Waterlogged.
Mm-hmm.
Probably spent a hell of a lot less time from Part 7 to Part 8 than he did, from Part 6 to Part 7.
Yep. So now we're in the middle of our list, ladies and gents, and everybody else. So,
Everybody in between.
Rob, I'm gonna give you. We're gonna drop it down to just one guess now. So, I'm gonna say Part 4.
Okay.
Henry, what's your guess for Rob? We're just doing one guess now. I said Part 4.
Okay. Yeah, to the remake. You say Freddy vs. Jason?
He
Yep.
did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Remake.
we're getting into the older movies now.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the originals.
I said, I keep forgetting. It's, New Blood.
I already did that one.
That's 7.
Yep.
Okay. I said, the remake. Part 1?
Actually, it is Part 2.
Part 2.
So, and now we are to the point for me that I do not dislike any of these movies. Some of the other ones, like Jason X, Jason Goes Out, I don't dislike them. I just have a few problems with them. But all these here, I actually really like them, but just something about the place ahead of it just liked it a little bit better. And what I liked, why, I didn't care for this one, one thing I didn't care for this one is the gunny sack. I mean, if you were alive and watching this that just came out, that probably wouldn't phase you at all. It probably would have actually been pretty cool. Because you had, the old lady, the mother killing people, and now just out of nowhere, here comes her resurrected son. Doesn't matter what he looks like. But when, like I said, you weren't even alive when these movies came out. So by the time us at our age are watching them, information on the TV guide or the back of Part 5 ruined it for me that it was a copycat killer. So, but with all the, everybody talking about it and everybody like seeing all these different movie covers, it's Jason and, he wears a hockey mask. So when you watch Part 2 and he finally shows himself and he's wearing a gunny sack, it's like, and when he first appears out from under the bed sheets, I'm like, oh, somebody's playing a joke. And then he like takes a knife and cuts the girl's leg.
Anybody.
Yeah, and he like, cuts the girl's leg. I'm like, that's not Jason. What the hell? Who the hell is that? That's a mean joke right there. You don't cut somebody. You wave a knife around and scare them, but you don't cut them. What the hell's wrong with you? And he stabs her. Like, are you? This is a joke, right? He's like, next scene he's gonna have the mask, right? Like, no, get to the whole movie. But I mean, I thought the kills were creative. I can't believe they killed a guy a white guy in a wheelchair.
I love that part.
I mean, really, he's handicapped.
Totally unnecessary.
He's handicapped. Come on.
Can we disagree that was totally unnecessary?
That was. I mean, he was about to get laid too. I mean,
he was
about to score. It's like, come on, you don't kick you're already kicking the guy when he's down because he's handicapped, but he was about to finally, prove that he's not disabled. All right, you already kicked him down once, but now it's like it's just getting worse to worse to worse. Sorry.
That was actually one of my favorite kills in the movie.
It was a good kill, and the way that the machete looked in his face was great for the time. But man, the man in a wheelchair, come on, he was about to let him score first. Let him be a cliche.
He went back. Didn't he go backwards down the thing?
Yep,
he did.
He pushed him backwards, and then the next one was the spear through the two people.
When they were banging on
pretty ugly couple too. That wasn't thank God we didn't see that too graphically. But
they were having ugly sex.
Yeah, that was nasty. Like James Hetfield before he joined Metallica.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I did it. I went there. But anyways, but I thought the kills were good. I mean, that was a little bit of a letdown. Once you get past that, all in all, it's a good movie. I mean, the girl who's actually going to be at SCARICON, New England. So I hope she comes to New York.
Oh, I got to meet her from Part 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
She, that was an interesting, interesting take.
Me and Henry have a funny story about that.
I didn't get her autograph.
Because you're an asshole.
Well, I mean, that's a quick answer, but yeah.
So we go to meet her, right? Go up there, go to the table. Henry's we're talking, blah, blah, blah. Henry, first thing he says, I had nothing to say. Yeah, so, we've been watching this movie for years. My friend Aaron always had a big crush on you watching this movie.
Nice.
And I had nothing. I don't even remember what I said. So,
where do you meet you two or something like that?
It was funny, though. She was nice, though. It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I have her autograph for, I don't even have the picture laying out. But where she's holding the pitchfork, like, remember the part where she's holding the pitchfork sitting on the back? That's the one she signed.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was saying, she was the first one that really gave Jason the business.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
well, it was the first movie that Jason was in, too, though.
Yeah, she took him to, took him in the shoulder. With
not really, but...
You know what I mean? Where he was in the full movie, because the first movie he was only in the end.
I mean, it's still a mystery. Was that really him that jumped out, or was that just a dream?
That was me.
Right.
I wasn't even born yet, but that was me.
Like, is that, like, did he really, come out of the lake as a child, or was that just a dream she had? Because...
I didn't mean to cut you off, but with that, what you're talking about right there,
it's real good. It's a real good, interesting take.
It really is, and I'm glad they never really answered it. Like, I'm glad that it's still kind of a mystery.
Make up your own,
yeah, exactly. Because the fans are like, look, he really did it, blah blah blah. But then other people come like, no, that didn't happen. This bitch was just dreaming. She was drunk and high and fucking scared and been shot.
Yeah, that's just a good route to go to in general for horror movies, because when you make things solid, like endings, there's only so much you can do with the next movie.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
You leave it a mystery and make your own idea, but at least it still kind of makes sense regardless. Like some movies like make zero sense, and it's like, okay, that was stupid. I mean, I don't even want to make my own theory because that was just so pathetic.
So
But
yeah, it was.
But yeah, I mean, I love part two. I think it's a great. It was a very good movie, very solid. First sequel. Like I said, when you're somebody like our age, when most of the Jason movies already existed when we start watching them, so we're expecting to see him, unlike part one, and we're expecting to see the hockey mask, unlike part two.
I get it.
Don't forget, Aaron, we met Kevin Nash. Or not Kevin Nash, I forget what his name is. The guy that played Jason in part two.
Yeah, we did at Monster Mania. I forgot his name, but yeah, we did. And so, Henry, it's on to you for your middle pick, and I'm gonna guess because I don't remember, but I'm gonna guess part two for you. What's your guess, Rob?
I'll guess part four because I don't think you said that one.
No, he did because he doesn't like Corey Feldman.
Oh, I know you said that one. I didn't realize he did that too.
I mean, that really part four should be number one, but
should be your worst.
Did you do part five?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. All right. Let's go. Freddy vs. Jason.
I'm gonna go with 8. It's Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, like I liked it, but there was more things about it that I didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
It was an interesting enough plot line. My favorite part in the whole movie was when Jason was fighting the boxing guy.
Yep, and knocked his head off.
Yep.
He just uppercutted his head off. Like someone put in the fatality code for Mortal Kombat.
Oh
Yep.
man, that's a perfect way to say it right there.
Actually, going back to that movie from the book. Now, Henry, I know you said you read the book. Do you remember the part where Kane was talking about how when he was doing this movie, do you remember the phone booth scene where he broke the glass in the phone booth or whatever? And the dude who he knocked his head off, he really cut, like in that scene, he really cut his hand when he was like reaching down, touching the glass. But he really cut his hand in that scene. Fun fact about that.
Was it that scene, or was it where he broke the mirror to kill that girl?
No. Kane didn't. Excuse me. Kane didn't hurt his hand. It was I can't remember the guy's name in the movie.
Oh, the guy. Oh, okay.
The boxer. He hurt his hand in that movie.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
But he really hurt. It wasn't like a movie thing. He like really cut his hand, which was a fun fact. But you can keep going on with that movie, Henry, if you got more to say about it.
And the part I think it was at the end when they were in a sewer, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the water came through and like it washed over Jason. Next thing you know, he's a little kid.
It's funny. We talked about this when we both discussed this. We brought that up. Like, he's an adult for every fucking movie besides part one where he jumps out the water. If that happened, let's just say it happened. Allegedly. And then he's an adult for every other movie except for the end of part 8. I'm like, what? That made no fucking sense. That's what bothered me.
And then he became a child in Freddy vs. Jason too.
But that was in his dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's true. But it was like, that's what bothered me.
Always defend Freddy.
Yeah. Wait, fuck Freddy.
But that's kind of an interesting thing, It's like, like when he's, surrounded by, like the chemicals that flushed out the sewers after he's, washed over in that, then he's a child again. But then when he's supposedly scared of water in Freddy vs. Jason, inside his dream, he becomes a child again. It's just weird, like, how you soak him in, some sort of liquid, puts him in a child form, whether it's in real life or in a dream.
Say that again, Henry?
Allegedly. And when he drowned, you know what I mean? So, shit. If I got hit by a car, I see a car falling, I'd be scared. You know what I mean?
I get it, but at the same time, it's like he's always in water. Like, he even, in part 6, when Tommy was calling him out, he walked in the water. So if he was that scared of it, he wouldn't have got in the water.
He was about to kill, the girl, his girlfriend or the girl he was interested in, and then until he turned around and saw Tommy out in the boat. Like I said, my theory, he would have grabbed her and kind of put the knife up to her, like, you know what, you want to save her? Come back here and get her.
Yeah.
Or, I'm not coming out there.
If he
I
was
don't think he put much thought into it.
No, he definitely didn't.
But like I say, you would have if you were that terrified of water, as they claimed him to be in Freddy vs. Jason. But yeah, so I mean, it's like that's the nitpicky stuff. I mean, you do 12 friggin' movies, you're gonna contradict yourself.
Yeah, you're gonna bump your head a couple times. But like I said, overall, I enjoyed them all. You got anything else to say about that one, Henry?
And then the scene when he was walking through, he was walking through Manhattan, and he kicked
the boombox
radio.
Mhm. Yep. Rob said that part too.
Yep.
Yep.
But so I mean, if you good,
He kicked the shit out of that movie.
yeah, he did.
Like he went out of his way to do that.
He did. And then they act like they're gonna do something, so they seen his face, and they ran off. So remember, they got the little switchblades out and like, hey yo, and he turned around.
Like a chain or something.
He turned
Oh, yeah,
around
and he lifted his mask.
and they ran off.
Yeah, he turned around and looked at his mask, right?
Yep.
And that right there shows, he's conscious of himself.
Hmm.
He's self,
He knows who he is.
he knows he's fucked up.
He knows he's an adult.
No, people
Yeah.
seen his face and kind of freaked.
So I guess it's my turn now. You guys want to give a guess on what's my next one?
I'd say part 3.
Henry, you got a guess?
No.
No?
No.
All right. Well, this is gonna surprise both of you motherfuckers. And I'm gonna here's what I'll do. This is my next one. Ooh baby, ooh,
Oh, part
baby,
5.
ooh baby, ooh baby. It's like
Damn enchiladas.
those damn enchiladas. Oh, what did he
It
say?
was on
To,
with Reckless Reggie.
yes.
Yep.
And what did he say to his girlfriend? He's like, bitch, you keep playing with this shit.
Told you this wasn't funny. Now you're gonna get it, bitch.
Yep. And this shit fucked is gross. Just
Remember what I was saying before, Aaron? That dude played the same dude in every movie he's ever
the
been
same
in.
type of role. Yeah. I forgot
Yeah.
what other movie he was in that we were watching at your crib, and he was pretty much the same thing.
The Living Dead.
There you go.
That's right.
Same outfit, same Jennifer girl, same attitude, everything.
Did he have the same enchiladas?
And he learned his lesson.
I hope he learned his lesson. But
I want to say yes.
I liked it because, and again, I know how you guys feel about this movie, but it was fun. It was another fun movie. It was funny. I kind of like how they kept Tommy Jarvis, like, still thinking about Jason. Like, when he looked in the mirror, he would see Jason in the reflection and take his medication, or he looked out the window, he thought he seen Jason, and he kind of rubbed his eyes and closed his eyes and kind of just... I like how he bugged out about that. Excuse me. I liked the copycat killer idea, but I felt like they could have did it a little bit better. Again, I'll bring it up again now that I'm discussing part 5. I said this to Rob earlier. I was saying how, because Rob mentioned how, like, the kid was up for adoption, his name wasn't Sheldon. What the fuck was his name?
No, Joey.
Joey. He was adopted or whatever, and then he was in a bunch of different foster homes, and he was in this little institution, and his parents just pretty much gave up on it. They gave him up.
I think mother died at birth.
Mother died, and father was just like, I don't want to raise this motherfucker. Fuck this shit.
He's like, well, she's not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
And like, so he's the first person to get killed off in the movie, because that's what sets the tone for the movie, which I thought was kind of cool. I thought the copycat killer was kind of cool, but I didn't like how the dad knew that was his son, because they didn't look alike at all, and they didn't really give a backstory to the father or to him.
Why the hell's he carrying around a picture of his fully grown son in his wallet, but he has no idea who he...
Like, they never met, so it's like...
Never really, never introduced himself.
I mean, it's not, I'm not saying it's impossible for him to keep tabs on him, but I felt like it was a little much, which I know me saying all this makes me sound like, Aaron, why the fuck is this so high in your list? But I love the idea of the copycat killer, and I'll bring it up again. I was talking with Rob, like, I feel what they could have done with the copycat killer, which would have made it so much better, and probably higher on his list and maybe your list, is like, say they had somebody that was like obsessed with Jason Voorhees, and let's say Jason, let's say they follow a story from Jason, where the final chapter in part 4, where Henry's favorite person in the world kills Jason, and let's say they follow that story, but let's say but everybody doesn't know Jason was killed off, so let's say there was somebody that's obsessed with Jason for years. He's been following these kills and all this, and he's so obsessed with them. And that's the person that kind of copies Jason, you know what I mean? Like, that's the copycat killer. Because Jason's been missing for X amount of years. And you notice all these things happen on Friday the 13th in the summer. So let's say he's been missing for a few years, because these movies come out every few years as far as when the shit happens. It comes out every few years. And let's say, excuse me. Let's say Jason's been missing for 15 years, just to throw a number out there. And so the guy's like, you know what? He's just killing. And they when he gets killed at the end, when he gets stopped at the end, he gets killed because he's human. They go back into go to his house or whatever, and they see he's just really obsessed with Jason. He has newspaper clippings and this, that, and the third just all over his place because he's obsessed with the killer Jason. That would have been cool. That would have made the movie much better. But this was just a fun fucking movie for me. I just enjoyed it. What really bumped this up for me too was just, like I said, I enjoyed it. I like how Tommy Jarvis was in the movie. I like how he flipped out and whooped that dude's ass. That was cool. I like the mother and the son connection in the movie. The son was kind of slow and stupid with the dirt bike, and the mother, she was fucking hilarious. She talks so much shit about her son. Fuck this and fuck that. These crazy motherfuckers and this, that, and the third. I just love that. I like the kills. I like the kills with the shears where he stabbed the girl in their eyes and then clipped them. I thought that was cool. You didn't see how he killed. You didn't see how he killed the grandfather. But wasn't his eyes ripped out?
Yeah,
something?
his eyes were probably stabbed him twice in the eyes.
And then the girl Victoria that was doing that weird ass dance in her bedroom. I don't know if you knew about this, Henry, but she was originally supposed to get killed by getting stabbed in the vajayjay, but they thought that was a little bit too much.
And then he's gonna cut her up, he's gonna stab her there, and then he's gonna go right up her.
Yep, but they thought that was too much. I thought that would have worked. That would have been cool.
That was too much. I think they stuck a hot curling iron up the girl's piece in sleepaway camp.
I know.
You know what?
Sleepaway camp.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Hot curling iron up the girl's piece. Which I thought that would have worked. I really enjoyed it. I just loved it. I did. And I love how Reggie's black instincts kicked in. The part where he's we talked about this so many times, Henry. The part where Jason pops up and he just starts screaming, and he didn't say shit. He screamed and he just took off. He didn't wait. We make this joke all the time. He's probably still running to this fucking day. The way he was running, I just enjoyed it. It was a fun movie. I understand it's probably not this high on a lot of people's list, and I get why. And this movie, I just really enjoyed. I had a really good time with this movie, so that's why it's there with my list. And I'm pretty much good on that one. I'm done talking about that one, so we can go on to the next one. And it's going on to Rob next, and I'm gonna guess part 1. If you didn't mention it already, you got a guess for Rob, Henry? Ooh, baby.
It's pretty low. You already said 3, right?
No. That's your guess?
So 3. Yeah.
Okay. Mine actually is part 6.
Ooh.
Yep. So, tell you what, due to time, I'll just go ahead and run down my last few real quick.
Okay.
Show you out my characters, and then I'm gonna bounce, but I'll check in with this podcast later, see what you guys say, wrap up yours. I'll try to keep them quick. I like part 6 because, how he got back, the lightning strike was a little corny, and plus, if he took that many...
I like that.
If he took that many slices of the face from Corey Feldman with a machete, his face looks pretty good, it looks rotten because, all the worms and, all the dirt and crap, once that all falls off, his face looks pretty intact. It should, fall, a dozen ways,
Yeah.
If it really,
Yeah, and those are real maggots that were falling off of him, too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So, but like I said, it seemed like he should look a little more messed up than that. But his rotting corpse looked pretty fitting. But then when he actually stands up, and comes back, he looks like he's in pretty good shape. But I thought
those gardening gloves weren't even dirty.
Yeah, right. And like I say, he's got gloves on. Who the hell buries him with the freaking gloves? But
Don't want his hands to be cold.
But like I said, I thought the kills were pretty good. It was pretty gory. I think that was the last movie that really got away with stuff where the MPA came in and started, killing the movies till Jason Goes to Hell. 7 and 8 were totally trash. With how much, they took away a lot of the gore. And when some of the kills should have been so much more graphic.
So since you want to wrap this up, I can go. We can just go you do yours, I'll do mine. I can do his. So you kind of go quick with that.
All right, that sounds cool.
So my next one was part 1. And I loved the movie overall. I really did. My only thing was just Jason wasn't the main killer.
Right.
But again, how Henry said, it's what started the series. It's what started the story. It's what started the franchise.
If you watched it if you saw it in theaters, you were old enough to see it when it first came out.
Yeah.
You probably would like it a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Than if you knew Jason's Killer Friday the 13th and you find out he's not in this movie.
But once you watch it and you get the story, you're like, okay, that makes sense. It's cool.
Right.
So that's mine. Henry, what's your next one?
Jason Goes Off.
Wow.
I can totally dig, it coming down that
Yeah.
that close.
And then what's your next one?
As part one, I said big reason, Mom's Killer.
Mhm.
I thought some of the way that they did things. I mean, I'm a huge Kevin Bacon fan,
I love
so
that.
I love that he was in there.
Who isn't though?
Yeah, that was a
I
cool
love
kill.
that he was in, and his kill was awesome.
It
In
was.
fact, he's a superstar actor, and he made it, into like a, movie like that, which you don't see a lot of real big names, make those
He
movies.
did Tremors, right?
Yep.
Tremors.
Yeah, he did Tremors. So, and I thought,
Footloose.
yep.
Footloose.
Oh yeah, he's countless movies for him,
Mhm.
good ones too. But I just, I said I really liked, I thought, the ending, if they had some other, even like they say you do, like Tom Savini, said, he put, he made a, like the fake head, and he put it like on a body, and he put like toothpicks to hold the head on,
Mhm.
and you can see them when it comes off, but you don't have to look close. Like even the pictures that people memes that people post, like on the horror pages, they're right there. You can see the toothpicks
And the
sticking
hands,
right out.
the man hand.
Yeah, the hand, because that's Tom Savini's, hands like
Yep.
doing that, like.
Oh yeah.
And so, then the excellent ending where he can't, that's probably what made the movie, that brought people in droves. I mean, the fact it was gory, it was scary,
Mhm.
but I think that right there is what really, not only appealed to the audience, but appealed to the critics as well to help this movie, continue on as a series.
Okay, and then my next one is part 2, and we touched on this. I mean, again, he had a sack. I enjoyed part 2, and I like how with this series in general, how for a lot of them they started like how part 2 started with the end of part 1 to kind of give you a recap, give refresh your memory, and I like how he went after, because it was kind of like a revenge kill when he killed the one girl.
Yeah.
He went and killed her, and then he went back to the camp, I guess. Like we don't know how far she lived from the camp. They didn't say.
Right.
But I like how they did. I like how they started with that, and shit. I like how I just enjoyed the movie overall. It was a fun fucking movie. The kills are always fun, and just like shit, the end where he jumps through the window and grabs the girl at the end with his mask ripped off.
Yep.
And just it was kind of cool how he got fooled, I guess, with the thing until she was going to stab him, and he's seen, and he like swiped at her. Remember when she had the sweater on, he's seen his mother's head.
Yep, because she moved when she's lifting the machete.
Yep.
And then he's kind of confused as to what he's kind of turns out like, what are you doing? And then she moves, he sees his head like, oh, that ain't mom.
And he takes a slash at her, and then
Yep.
the other guy comes and
They did the same thing in the remake too.
helps her out. My thing with this movie though is, the girl survives because she's in the hospital. Or whatever. What happened to the guy? Like they never said anything about what happened to the guy because he snatches her at the end.
Yeah, and then she's calling out, Paul, where's Paul? When she's being taken away.
Yeah.
So
He was smart. He left.
He's like, fuck this. And he didn't get any from her. He was like, fuck it. So Henry, what's your next?
Work the next morning.
What's your next one, Henry? If you can remember.
How many more are left?
I just did part. There's 3. Well, for you there'll be 4. For me, there's 3.
is there 3? Why do I have 2 left?
I don't know.
Oh wait, or did I? Which one did I say last?
You just said part 1.
Yeah, so I got 2 after that.
Then I just said part 2, which was. Yeah, because I could. You know what? I'm gonna give you guys a quick. I got part 7 left, part 6 left, and part 3 left.
So 3 is your favorite?
Yeah.
Is your top? What was the one before that?
Part 7.
Yeah.
Mainly because Kane Hodder was in it. It was I enjoyed the story. It was fun. I get why you guys didn't like the telekinesis. I'm like in the middle with it, like because obviously the movie's not real, so it was kind of cool that somebody had some sort of power to do something. I like how she brought Jason. I like how she brought Jason back from under the. She thought she was bringing her dad back, but she brought Jason back. And
simple mistake.
Again, like you were saying, it was probably the best looking Jason from the whole series. Mask on and off, and Kane Hodder played the shit out of that role.
Yep.
And yeah, like actually one of my least favorite characters is in this fucking movie, and one of my
same here.
kind of favorites, which we can get to after we finish the list. What's your next one? What's your next one, Henry?
I think I had 3 left.
Yeah. What are your?
So
I know Part 6
I'm
is
gonna
your
say the
favorite.
remake.
The remake.
Yeah.
You want to give like a quick
And
synopsis why?
the main one of the main reasons was I feel like it made him more of a character than just like a. I gave more depth to the character instead of just being like a mindless
Killer.
You know, yeah, like remember it showed that he had all those medals and archery, which came into play later, and like how he had a tunneling system under the camp,
Yeah.
which kind of made sense so he could get to places so quickly without running.
Mm-hmm.
And he like showed anger in this one.
Yeah, he did.
Remember what
the canoes?
Yeah, with the canoes, and then like he had the bell. He had the bell that would trigger, and he would know if there was someone up there, and no one's supposed to be there. Got to go kill him.
Yep, I like that about it.
And the archery thing when he hit homegirl through the eye, right?
Yeah. No. He hit her boyfriend.
Eye.
He hit her boyfriend when he was driving the boat.
That's right. Okay, even better. Yeah.
Because he's
in that distance. I mean.
Yeah, because he stabbed the girl you're talking about. He actually stabbed her through the head, through the dock, and then you seen her big ass titties.
Yeah, that was Lita Ford. She used to be a pop singer.
Thanks. What's
No
your
what else I like about it? The opening.
Yes, the intro was dope.
He set up traps. Like he was planning. He was thinking ahead. He just wasn't swinging a machete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think it would have been better. Like we discussed this on the phone a while back. If it was set in the 80s, if it was not modernized.
I mentioned that too in this podcast, and I agree.
And I think that's just because like that's when we fell in love with those movies was in those settings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it worked.
Yeah. But I just like it. I just feel like it made him more of a character than just like a mindless killing machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, told more of a story in one movie as opposed to like a dozen movies.
Remember, he had the one person had their leg caught in the bear trap, and then he had homegirl in the tent or in the sleeping bag over
hanging
the fire,
upside down with the fire. Yeah, those were both dope.
And that was the intro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember everybody.
And that weed they had was fake as hell.
Yeah.
That's
What's your next one, Rob?
My next one is part 3.
Part 3?
Yep. That was like my favorite for the longest time. Like, I say, I just loved that movie. Like, I thought, the bikers was a cool touch. I liked a lot of the kills in it.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of liked how it didn't.
That one biker looked like Latoya Jackson.
Yeah, that's right. And she, and there wasn't, a lot of, kind of built it up, but one thing I was watching part of it. I was watching the other night. It's like I remember this one time, but I totally forgot. But the one chick, the one that was, screwing her boyfriend, like there was no tomorrow. Actually made a comment that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And he freaking, kills her at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, cause, she won't swallow any of the drugs when they think the cops are pull her because I can't do. I'm pregnant, but has no problem, she's getting secondhand weed smoke and also, drinking beer.
That's very true.
Even though she refused, even though she changed her mind about it, but still, if you're that concerned about, if you're that concerned about your unborn child, it's like you would have said no, thank you right from the beginning. Not, yeah, okay, beer sounds good, well,
she was drinking light beer, so.
That's true.
She's being responsible.
Mm-hmm.
And like, and how the hell did when he cuts the guy in half? That was a really cool scene. But how the hell did he get the two pieces up that high without making a huge mess in the room? And it's not till like the blood starts to just starts to seep out and then start dripping on her magazine.
Yeah.
It seems like that should have been a bigger mess in that room than.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Unless it was the rooms weren't like completely walled up. Like they were just but some wall separated the room, didn't go up all the way, so that's where he stuck him, put him from the other room. So that way, the other room was a complete bloody mess, but the room that they were in was untouched until the blood started coming out, and then he's hiding out of the hammock. But I just thought that was, I thought it had some good thrills, some good chills.
It did.
I like how the guy survived the initial attack, but didn't make it 5 seconds after he came back. Tried to take him out one more time, but
My next one is part 6, and again, like, it was a dumb idea for them to go over there and dig up Jason and fucking stab him through the thing and all that. Bring him back to
wanted
life.
to make sure he was dead. Well, obviously he was dead, right?
Yeah, you should have just left him alone.
yeah, just bad
Wouldn't he have
memories
been
came
out
back.
and about and not in a casket?
Yeah, but
Come on,
I
Tom.
don't know. There was. I think so.
what happened?
I think he was in a casket. He opened it up.
Yeah, he was in
And
the
then when he kills the other guy, he falls in. His foot's hanging out,
Mhm.
and the gravedigger
Yeah,
shows up.
Tommy and his boy.
Sees his foot.
And
hanging
I
out.
just want to add, like, I think it would have been cool if they put Tommy Jarvis more of the movies, kind of like what they did with The Nightmare on Elm Street with Nancy.
Mhm.
Like how Nancy's like his nemesis and vice versa. I think they should have put Tommy Jarvis in the movies.
Well, Tommy Jarvis was actually in part 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, he only did battle with Jason twice though, as a teenager in part 6, and as a young
That's
boy
true,
in part
that's true.
4. Part 5 was a copycat, which is another thing. Like I know they couldn't back up and do it, but if they were thinking ahead,
They could
if
have.
part 6 was in mind, but they're gonna throw part 5 in before that, they should have swapped his age. Like
Yeah.
teenager in
Yep.
part 5, young man in part 6.
But part 6, like I said, I enjoyed it. It was fun again. I'm trying to remember now what the fuck happened. They brought him back to life. That's the cop, the father
Yeah.
cop, and all
Yeah.
that shit. And they kept thinking Tommy had shit to do with it. They didn't listen to him. You had the girl. You had the dude. Was he? That was doing cocaine in his car,
Oh yeah.
going to pick up the chick from the thing. So they're taking forever to get fucking ready.
Oh, that was
Of
part
course.
5.
That was part 5.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm getting these
Yep.
shits mixed up. You're right, because that was the
Yep.
copycat shit. What the fuck was part 6 then? Damn.
It was the kid. They're actually kids at the campsite, which was the first.
That's right, okay.
And yeah, she comes
They
in,
actually had
sees
kids,
one of the girls,
And
like,
she starts praying,
and
and
like
he
gets right up close to her, then like hears a noise and
goes
runs
outside.
off, and then she opens her eyes, he's not there anymore.
Yes. This is the one where Tommy told Jason to come to the
he
water
never
and all
said
that.
shit.
Yeah.
He told him to come to the water, which I did like that. I like how they fought, and I like how it ended where Jason was underwater, kind of floating or whatever,
Yeah.
dead or whatever. That was kind of cool. It was
You're
a
like,
good.
"Ooh, it's over."
It was good overall. I actually don't really have too much to complain about this movie. Being
Yeah,
my
me
second
either.
favorite.
I almost thought it was a little weird that he lit the water on fire. Maybe I was trying to see him.
That was where with the gas and all
Yeah,
that.
get through the gas house and then the ring around
Maybe
the
trying
boat.
because it was at night. Maybe he's trying to make more light. I guess.
Yeah,
But
maybe so Jason would find him, like follow the fire.
So Henry, what was your number 2 Jason movie?
Freddy versus Jason.
Really?
I dig it.
It was a highly anticipated movie. You want to get
The
into it?
concept was great.
Mm-hmm.
The concept was great. It was like I said about the other movies. There's always something. No Jason movie is perfect for me, besides 6 maybe.
Mhm.
There's always something I don't like about it. And what I didn't like about that movie was the casting, the supporting cast.
Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, across the board. The supporting cast was terrible.
I think we
Yeah.
mentioned that too.
Yep.
But I agree with that.
But you're not going to have top notch. You're not going to have Wesley Snipes or Denzel Washington. You're not going to have. You're not going to have top
Halle
tier
Berry
actors
might
in
now.
those movies.
You don't. I mean, I get that too, but you don't necessarily want that too much, only because a lot of those actors won't get killed in a movie, so it would kind of hurt the movie. But I do get what
Yeah.
you're saying. Like, you could have smaller names that are really good
Plus,
actors.
with like a Drew Barrymore in Scream, that shocked the hell out of everybody when that came out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like what I liked about it was how Freddy used Jason because he's a mindless killer,
Mhm.
and he used that to his advantage.
To get his power
Send him
back.
back to Elm Street.
To have people
Everybody
remember
thinks,
him.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
didn't completely work out the way he thought it would have worked out, but because you can't control something that's doesn't have a mind,
hmm
essentially.
No, I get it. I agree. I enjoyed him. It's not this high on my list or low or whatever. It's not this high on my list, but I do get what you're saying. I like the same
The
things
kills
you
were
liked about the
great.
movies. The kills were fun. My thing with this
Right.
movie, which you will hear it in the podcast, but I'll say it to you because you're on the phone with us, is I wish it had a darker tone to it, like a little more scary, a little more jump scares. And I didn't like the
Yeah.
I know how Freddy's goofy and all that, especially in the dream sequence. I didn't like the ping pong thing with Jason where he was like having him bounce around the boiler room and all that.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
funny, but it was
It
like
could have done something better.
it could have been something a lot better. And
Yeah.
I feel like I think another thing I would have liked about what would have made the movie better for me is I know how Freddy acted like he was his mother earlier in the movie to get Jason to start killing. And if he would have did the same thing but get him to stop killing some or to kind of calm down. You know what I mean?
He did. He tried.
To kind of get him to remember Freddy.
Right.
Overall, like I said, this whole list, I got one more left, but this whole list, I enjoyed like all the movies to an extent. Obviously, I like some more than others.
Mhm.
And, shit, I mean, yeah. Rob went to go pee pee. He's about to come right back up now so we can figure out what his number one was. I know your number one's 6. And
But,
Rob,
The
what-
the one thing about the Friday the 13th franchise is
It's all
it's
good.
consistent.
chair just fell apart, but it's
Oh,
all
my.
good. Don't even worry about
It
it.
was a consistent series, and the soundtrack
Yeah.
really,
Yeah, yeah.
really did it. Really made the scenes more intense. You know, that you just didn't have that in Freddy
Yeah.
movies. You just didn't.
Yeah.
You know, especially in part 6. Oh, actually, all of them, but still, like when you heard that music, you knew
Mhm.
it was going down.
Yep.
Someone was getting it.
So, I'll do my number one real quick, and I'll let Rob do his, and we can kind of close it out and stuff. Mine was part 3. And, like, I know it was slower than a lot of the other ones on the list, but I'm just going to give you the main reason why part 3 was my number one movie. The Mask. The Mask was finally brought in,
Yep.
and it was like,
Mm.
it's the iconic mask. Like, anybody who sees that mask knows, even like little kids now, if they don't know the whole Jason name, they know it's from a scary movie at the very least. Like, everybody knows that mask.
Yeah, like
And
my
it's
4-year-old, he knows who Freddy is. He's never watched a single Jason movie.
see, and I think that's awesome, and I love that shirt that you had him in. By the way, that was cool. And
I actually stopped watching part 6 the other night because he woke up.
but it was just
He hopped right up.
he knew. But
Yeah.
that like the scenes in it were cool. Like he was mentioning the bikers. You had Shelby, the little jokester, the little fat jokester who he was trying to get it in. He was trying to get some for JJ, but
Didn't know how to do it.
he
Went off the
was-
wrong
He had a
way.
heart of gold.
yeah. And like I love the movie overall. I really did. I really liked a lot of these movies. This list is one of these type of lists that can probably change up in like 2 or 3 years for me. Just rewatching the
Oh,
movies. But like I said,
Yeah.
my main reason, my number 3, overall good movie, good story. It's just the mask finally came into play. Like Shelby brought the mask to the camp.
You know,
And
He finally became
The Jason that
who
we all
he was trying to be.
know and love. Like the mask, the iconic mask. And I'm just like, boom, here it is. So Henry, you said your number one was 6. So Rob?
Yeah.
Alright. My number one has got to be part 4, the final chapter. And why I say that is because, I know,
Is it because Corey Feldman was in it?
Corey Feldman was an annoying little shit in the movie.
Okay.
But
Mm-hmm.
just the more I
That's
watch,
right.
especially at the end, I mean, some of the kills were real gritty. Really some boundary pushing for the time. The iconic, Crispin Glover dance.
Oh yeah, that dance was fucking fire.
The twins in the movie, but just like the end, like after almost everybody's dead, and he's like it's coming down to him going through the house chasing the Corey Feldman and his older sister. Some of the scenes like the part where she like where they drop the TV on his head and they get out and they're trying to get past him. That's tense right there. He's gonna get up and then he grabs him, they kick his face and get away from him. But then there's like a scene where it's like, it's complete pitch black and like she's being chased. He's chasing her up the stairs and like she's like, on one side of the stairwell, he's on the other, and just kind of started staring her down,
Mhm.
and she's trying to figure out what to do, and then he just then he just just kind of making slight movements, and he just lunges at it. It just feels so real, so it's tense, it's scary, and like I said,
you're not gonna do something I will.
exactly, and it's like, I mean, one thing I hate, like, how much for no reason whatsoever they changed the way he looks from part 3 into part 4. There's absolutely he took an axe to the forehead,
Yeah.
but that shouldn't have, made his eyes, like, freaking go cross-eyed and his teeth, like, completely buck out more than they were. And, like, he had more teeth in part 4 than he did part 3.
That's true.
I mean, like,
he has dental insurance.
yeah, exactly.
That's good.
So it's like, I mean, all the other movies, like, he's rotting in water. You can understand why he's changing, why his body and his face is deteriorating, but there was no reason why his face should have changed that much.
Yeah,
even from part 2 to part 3, besides the haircut, look the same.
Yeah, you're right though, because from part 3 to part 4, part 3 he gets the axe to the face, like you're saying.
Yeah.
He's knocked out in the barn, and then part 4 it picks up from that. Like,
right.
it literally picks up from right there. They bring him to the hospital, which you have one of my favorite lines in the fucking whole franchise. Jesus Christmas. God damn it, jumping Christmas shit. That was from part 4. And I can't not tell you, that's another rewind. I mean, Henry probably rewound about 10 times just watching it and laughing over and over and over again.
Got funnier each time.
And
like, not to change the well, it's still the same subject, but I remember the first time I watched part 6, it was on Monster Vision on USA with Joe Bob Briggs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm laying there, and I already knew what was going to happen. I'm like, don't do it. And then, the lightning strikes the pole that's in his chest, and I legitimately got mad.
And you knew what was going to happen. Oh, shit.
Knowing damn well I was watching a Jason movie, so yeah. But, you're a kid. I was probably like 8 or 9 when I was watching it.
Yep. But so, we can end this real quick. Henry, me and Rob discussed this earlier, but we didn't say who yet, but we're gonna pick our 2 favorite characters from the whole franchise, not including Jason, and our 2 least favorite characters from the whole franchise, again, not including Jason. And I'll go first with one of my least favorites, and it's the doctor / psychiatrist from part 7. I thought he was a fucking dickhead towards the chick Tina. Like, she had all this stuff going on, or she accidentally killed her dad, and he just keeps trying to have her use her telekinetic powers.
He had his own agenda.
He really did. He was out there for the money.
Yep.
And there was a part where remember the spike that was in the side of the cabin outside the door?
Yeah.
She's seen it. She goes inside. She's talking about it. They go back outside and it's gone. Like, they go outside later on and it's gone, but there's a little hole from it there. Later on in the movie, you find out it's in his desk. And then another part in the movie, this is where I really lost respect for him. They're running from Jason, and he throws the chick's mother in the way.
He grabs hold of her and puts her in front of him while he freaking takes that. So how the hell did he get away? Like, killed her while he's holding on to her.
And then he just kind of ran off.
He's running. He's been caught right there. I mean, he gets caught, shortly after.
So that's
much better, justice done with that freaking weed whacker thing.
Yeah. So who's your least favorite, Rob?
And that is exactly one of mine right there.
Okay.
That was I changed it up, but he was one of them. But yeah, that's like that. I mean, I like the actor because he's the guy who played Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's, an old '80s comedy. It was funny as hell. But yeah, like I say, you can just tell this guy has absolutely no desire to help this chick whatsoever. He's just in it, for himself. And like I said, in that scene right there, it really pissed me off, where he freaking, shields himself with the mother, and just willingly knows exactly what's going to happen, and just lets him kill her.
He wasn't acting out of character. I mean, yeah.
So Henry, who was one of your least favorite characters out of the franchise, if you can think of anybody?
Out of the whole franchise, I'm gonna go with the obvious one. Go with the young Tommy Jarvis.
Yep,
we already know why, too, because you two just...
Yep. And my favorite, I'm going to go with Reckless Reggie.
That's my fucking favorite, too. That's one of my favorites. And Rob?
And my other least favorite, right? Or going to favorite?
We could do favorite, and then we'll do least, and then favorite again.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with Jack from the first one, Kevin Bacon's.
He was one of your favorite?
Yeah. I would like Kevin Bacon. I just thought, it's like him, really young and unknown. Just, his character was really, I thought his character was really good. His death was excellent.
It was probably one of the better kills.
Yep. And,
like with Johnny Depp in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's, these, young future icons. You have no idea who they are. That have iconic deaths, in an original, classic movie.
And then,
yeah, when you think of special effects, you think of that.
Oh yeah, especially the way, how it was done too.
Yep. And
it's
then
amazing.
I'll go with my other least. Who the hell's my other least favorite? Henry took him. Corey Feldman. The thing I didn't like about Corey Feldman, I don't care about him as a person, but just him killing off Jason, I didn't like. But I really can't think of any. You know what? I'm gonna go with fuck. I guess I'll just go with him because I can't really think of anybody. So fuck it. So Henry, who's your other least favorite character if you can think of somebody?
I'm gonna go all the way back to Freddy vs. Jason in the main character, the blonde.
The chick?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I did like her in the Night of the Demons remake. That was absolutely terrible, but she did a good job in it.
Well, she made up for it then, I guess. So who's your next least favorite?
Next least favorite is the uncle from Part 8, Charles.
The uncle from Charles.
Yeah, he's the he's the
I forgot all about
teacher.
that dickhead.
He's a total schmuck. Won't believe a word anybody says. And you find out, he freaking, abuses, his niece by chucking her in the water to make her swim.
I forgot all about him. Fuck him.
Yeah,
That's why I have, son.
Yeah, I couldn't stand that guy right from the beginning. He was just a schmuck right from the beginning,
And then we could just, who was your other favorite?
My other favorite is from the original again. That was Ned. The real nerdy. You didn't see how. I mean, you know how he died. You didn't see it happen. He sees somebody in the cabin. He goes looking, and then when Jack and his girlfriend are screwing in the bunk bed, they're in the bed underneath. You look up, they go up above. His throat's dead, wide open,
which was awesome.
On the top. You didn't see it happen, but he brought a freaking his character and his humor were stellar. I just love his personality. It just sucked. It just didn't last that long.
Yeah.
He was the one who's always, I think he's the one who faked drowning in the water, and they pulled him out.
Yep, to get a kiss.
And then, and then he then you see his hand go up and grab her when she's trying to do mouth to mouth.
I'm gonna go with. Now he didn't have a big role in the movies, and this is going off the top. Your old dude.
Oh,
Crazy Ralph.
Crazy Ralph. Yep.
Just because I've said this on the podcast plenty of times. Listen to the old crazy dude or lady that's telling you not to fucking go to that area where you're getting ready to go.
Especially in Part 3 if one of them's holding a friggin' eyeball.
Yeah, that's true. Don't go there. But they never listen. Fred knew what he was talking about. Crazy Ralph knew what he was talking about. Sorry, not Fred. So yeah, that's my next one. And Henry, who was your other favorite?
My other favorite?
If you have one.
Reckless Rich's brother.
Demon.
So you like the black characters?
Yeah.
Is it because of the singing?
The singing, the Jerry curl.
The enchiladas.
Like he was just in a lot of my horror movies.
Okay, that makes sense though. So was Corey Feldman though. Why isn't he one of your favorites?
It messes me up because he was in the Goonies. He was the voice of Donatello.
Lost Boys.
What else was he in? Oh, Lost Boys. Duh.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3.
Right. I didn't even bother. I only watched the first one.
2 was absolutely terrible. 3 wasn't great, but it was a little bit better. But the original
It
was
was
absolutely
money grabs.
Money
grabs, that's all.
All it was.
And you just, well, that's fair though. But so personally, overall, I do recommend the whole franchise watching. I'd even rewatch the whole franchise. I've rewatched it plenty of fucking times. And, yeah, so, I mean, it has, like I said, there's a lot of really strong movies and there's a lot of few weak movies, but overall, out of 10 Jason masks, I'll say out of 10 Jason masks and 10 machetes, I'll give this whole franchise about a 8.
Weird. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And I mean, do you
Yeah,
guys have?
same here.
They're all entertaining.
They are.
Some are just some are just pretty blah,
Yeah.
and some are just really stellar.
So before I drop this off and end it with my little ending, how I do you guys have anything else you want to add to it?
What's up with all the shitting in the movies? That's what I like to say.
The shitting?
Yeah, like you got Demon from Part 5, which was just kind of like a release of, but Part 3 has an extremely graphic, freaking soundbite.
Mm-hmm.
Is with the guy from the beginning, like where he's the guy who's his wife is telling him you need to lay off all the junk food, when the snake shoots out, which is on a wire, which was pathetic, and he's scared because of that, but he's run to the house, she's like, what happened? It's like, it's all that shit you've been stuffing in your face, isn't it? And then you see him on the toilet, wicked, clear graphic sound effects. I was like, what is this a theme that went on back in the 80s with horror movies? But I've watched a ton of 80s horror movies. Like, nope, it's just something they just kind of threw in there.
By keeping it real, sometimes you gotta just shit.
I know. I didn't realize we all had to witness it.
Now you see, if that was me,
you know what it is. Think about it. Like, when are you most vulnerable? When you're sitting down, you got your pants down, you're pushing out a little. That's when you're most vulnerable. When you're pissing, you can take off in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
Your dick will be flapping in the wind, but you're moving.
Almost could be a defense mechanism. It's turn piss on your attacker.
Hey, it might work.
They're gonna keep coming. They're gonna try to back off till you're done.
Yeah, but Jason might cut your dick off.
Oh yeah, he'll say, he's got a long shit. He'll just something kind of like a freaking butter knife.
Oh, he might be into that.
Oh man. So again, like I said, it's definitely rewatchable. Rob and Henry, thank you both for being on the podcast. Another episode.
My pleasure.
This is actually the first. This is actually the first episode that we all got to get on together, but it was not supposed to be the first episode. We were supposed to the very first episode, like I've mentioned before, on our way up to SCARICON, we're supposed to be on that one together. But I'm not gonna say any names, but let's just say somebody fucked up with the recorder, and they didn't save it. But again, thank you guys. I really highly appreciate you guys being on the podcast with me, being on the page, helping the page grow, helping the podcast grow. I appreciate that. So thank you guys both very much. And again, if you have anything else to say, go ahead. If not, I'll end it.
I think I'm good.
No, I'm good. Actually, I have to vacuum.
All right.
Said my piece.
So thanks again, and I'm going to end it here. Henry, I'll talk to you later then.
Yes.
And I'm going to end it off. So I'll see you in your nightmare.